from the Car Shield studio, this is the opening drive on 101 ESPN.
Everyone, and welcome to the opening drive on 101 ESPN in St. Louis, where it's 7 o'clock. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Brooke Grimsley and Matthew Rocchio. I'm Randy Carricker. Great to have you with us. So, by the way, we got a text or a tweet from somebody who hates the fact that I roll my R's when I say Rolex jeweler.
Why do they hate that so much?
I don't know.
I think it's beautiful, Randy.
I appreciate that very much. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, especially after that entrance this morning, because that woke me up. I usually have my energy drink. I already had that today.
Good.
And I have my coffee.
Proud of you.
And I have my water. Mm-hmm. And then I have you really brightening up my energy even more.
I appreciate that very much. So it's our friends at Clarkson Jewelers are an officially licensed Rolex.
Let me see if I can do it. Rolex.
You got it. You can do it. Matthew is here. We were all at Topgolf Chesterfield last night. We had a great time with the folks from Big League Impact. Kyle Gibson was the host, and almost every single Cardinal was on hand. It was great to have them on hand, and so many people raising so much money for Big League Impact. And thanks to them for allowing us to be the MCs.
That was such a fun event last night. A lot of the players were there, as you mentioned. A lot of players that I was very surprised to see there. I think that was very important. You had Nolan Arenado coming out there. I mean, so many of the guys. And you had Ollie Marmol there, Daniel Descalso. So it was a great showing by the players and great showing by the fans that showed up as well.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll talk about that and three things we loved about the weekend today on the show. Coming up at 7:45, we're going to talk to Joe Buck. He's going to be back in the Cardinal booth doing local Cardinal television on Friday with our buddy Chip Caray, who is going to join us, by the way, at 8:45, and then Chris Kerber at 8:15. So those are your guests today. A lot to talk about. Frank Cusimano's interview last night on Channel 5 with John Mozeliak. We'll touch on that. And, of course, the Cardinals taking 2 of 3 over the weekend from Boston. Dropped the finale yesterday, Brooke, by a score of 11-3, but they hit the daylights out of the ball in the first couple of games.
Yeah, they did. And that's something that you could look at as a positive, is that offensively it looks like things are clicking a little bit better. Now, they just had 6 hits yesterday, so I say that, and then you have that happen. But you didn't have Mason Wynn in the game. You didn't have Ivan Herrera in the game. It was a night game the day before, day game, so I understand letting some of those guys get some rest, especially for Mason Wynn with his prior back issues that he's had for more than a week now. I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of you on this one, Randy. This has been an ongoing thing, okay? It's been more than a week, so I'm already going to put a stop to that one. But the biggest story to me is Matthew Liberatore. What is going to happen with Matthew Liberatore moving forward? Because I don't think that he can be in the starting rotation anymore. And based off of Ollie Marmol's comments after the game, I think he's insinuating that as well. I just feel like they haven't put him in the right situation for him to succeed right now in a starter role. And they don't have time to really wait this out, to practice patience and trying to figure this out, because you have to get things back on track for the rest of the season.
And Brooke, this is an unforced error. The baseball didn't do this to the Cardinals. It was predictable that Steven Matz was going to get hurt.
Yes.
And maybe the Cardinals did think more of what Zach Thompson was, but it's hard to rely on having basically 7 starting pitchers, which is what they had. Most teams go through a lot more than that during the course of the season. And right now, the Cardinals just aren't showing a propensity to be able to develop young pitchers, and they don't have enough veteran guys. So if it's not Liberatore that starts the next time the Cardinals need a 5th starter, who is it?
That's the big question. And we've talked about this. I think it really shows the lack of pitching depth that they have within the organization right now, because who can you call up in this situation to take over that number 5 spot role? Because you do have kind of currently in the starting rotation a lot of number 5 starters, but not many other answers for some of the other positions that you have in there or spots you have in the starting rotation. So it points to me the lack of depth in the organization, and that goes to roster construction, which who is that is in charge of that?
That's the president of baseball operations, I would say.
John Mozeliak. And that's what we talked about this offseason, Randy, is that they needed another frontline starter. You knew what was going to happen to Steven Matz. I know that they kind of eased him into spring training hoping that he wouldn't have another injury. You can't have another season of hopes and promises of hoping that it would all work out. And now you're in a situation where Matthew Liberatore was best out of the pen. That's what he was prepared for, and he was doing well. And now you're stuck in this situation where not only is your bullpen a lot more strained, but then you also have a big question mark in your starting rotation.
Meanwhile, the Cardinals did score 10 on Friday, and this is a team that hasn't scored many runs. We've run through this ad nauseum, but they scored 10 on Friday. They scored 7 on Saturday. And as the series got underway, Greg Amsinger, MLB Network, our buddy, who is a product of St. Louis and the Lindenwood University, he foresaw what was going to happen.
Brand new approach to beating other teams with a rotation that does not have velocity. And all of these guys are spinning it. If it's a fastball, it's a sinker, or it's a cutter. Everything has movement. They're not doing anything straight. I don't know if it can last the test of time.
Well, the Red Sox, they don't throw with velo, and the Cardinals don't hit velo. What the Cardinals do is, in general, they hit the people that spin it. The Cardinals, if it's 97 up in the zone, they're not hitting it. They're not a traditional fastball hitting team, and the way the Red Sox pitched this weekend, for the most part, played into the Cardinals' hands, and that helped the Cardinals score 17 runs.
Yeah, that definitely helps a lot. And that's what I'm saying, is that it's hard to really harp on this team too much, because you did get to see the offense start to click a little bit more. But then with the way that everything went down on Sunday, when you lose 11-3, by the way, what is with this team and not being able to close out the series finale?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is. It is a little weird. And now you're 2 of 13 in series finales, 0 for 6 in series finales in which they had a chance to sweep. They had a chance to sweep the Red Sox, and they were not able to complete that this weekend. So I find that very interesting that they're not able to close it out. What could that be?
Well, some of it could just, and I think last week was the first game they had won on a Sunday, too, which goes to what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
The third game of a series.
They're 1 for 7 on Sundays.
Maybe lineup is part of it. You mentioned before we came on the air the lineup without having Mason Wynn in there and without having Herrera, who's your best hitting catcher right now, in there. And maybe it's just the way the pitching plays out. You had to start Liberatore. And so that's not a positive. I would think that it's more fluke than anything else.
Yeah.
I hope. By the way, today, the Cardinals will face Dean Kramer of the Orioles, who are in town, and the Cardinals are going to pitch Sonny Gray. Orioles are interesting, but let's start with this. Metro Boomin night at the ballpark.
Oh,
he's going to perform before the game, and Parkway North grad, and I think a 5 or 6 time Grammy winner, and they've got the Metro Boomin bobblehead, so he'll be back in town, so that's cool. And he, by the way, a monster Cardinal fan, too.
Yes.
So good to have Metro Boomin back in St. Louis. But the Orioles, led by General Mike Elias, he was here with the Cardinals under John Mozeliak and Jeff Luhnow. Sig Medahl, their assistant general manager, was with Elias and Luhnow, not only here, but in Houston. And then when Elias went from Houston to Baltimore, he took Sig Medahl with him. And their director of baseball strategy, Brendan Forney, is a native of Waterloo, Illinois. He worked for the Gateway Grizzlies for 5 years and attended Mizzou. They also have Mark DeJean's son in their system. Mark DeJean is revered by people in the Cardinal organization for his ability to teach and coordinate at a minor league level. So there's a lot of Cardinal influence with the Orioles, who are so good.
Oh, that would be some nice resources to have here with the Cardinals.
It would. Yeah, they've got a lot of... They're doing a lot of teaching at the minor league level in Baltimore.
And they have so much talent. A lot of that, of course, has to do with the fact that they haven't been playing well over the years, so they're able to draft high. But you could always draft high, and those guys don't succeed.
Right.
So they're able to develop them into what you need with this team, which we saw last year, over 100 wins for them. They've been a good team this season as well, and there's more and more talent on the way, and you have to give credit to the developmental side of things.
Yeah, they've done a great job. So Baltimore here in town, the St. Louis Browns, actually, taking on the St. Louis Cardinals in the anniversary of the 1944 World Series.
I was going to say, first they take the team, and I said nothing, but then they come for our executives, and now I have a problem, Randy.
I do too.
They come for the son of one of our heroes of the last decade.
Yeah.
You know what? Frankly, I thought there was an agreement when they moved. I thought it was actually signed. We'll never be better than the Cardinals. I thought that was part of the agreement. What the hell's going on here, Baltimore?
We don't poach from you guys. Yeah. And they're doing it. And when they stole an NFL team, they were able to actually keep it after they lost it.
Hey, by the way, I know that you mentioned Metro Boomin, but we also got this text in about the City Connects.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think about the City Connects? It's been pretty much leaked. I think it's safe to say that those are going to be
they're official.
the City Connects.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I am good with them. It's a lot of red. But I'm fine with that. I didn't hate the Cardinals' red spring training jerseys. Red on red is okay as long as they've got the white numbers. So I'm okay. I like the patch with the arch and the city flag. I like even though unless you're never going to be able to tell that the pinstripes are a river, right? It's kind of like Cleveland with their stupid Guardian stuff.
They're pillars,
yeah,
Randy.
They're pillars. Come on. But I like the look. As I sit in the stands or watch on TV, I know I'm going to like the look.
I don't exactly hate it. Now the hats.
I'm cool with the hat. STL,
really?
yeah.
They try to with the font. I get what they're trying to do. It's missing a little bit of something for some reason. Here's the thing that might make me completely wrong, because I saw them and I was like, yeah, these are bad, and I wasn't surprised. But the thing that might actually change my opinion here is somebody actually took a better screenshot of like the promotional email that was sent out. It actually looks like the pants that's just the red belt. The pants might be white.
Yes. They better be
with
white.
Red stripe, because somebody took like a more expanded one, and the red just under the red jersey was the belt, and I saw white belt loops, and I saw a little bit of white at the top. So I'm wondering if maybe the pants are actually not completely red, which might completely change my thoughts overall.
Yeah, if the pants are red, that's horrific, and I'm going to hate them. Horrific, and There's very little excuse in general for red pants, unless it's opening day and you're wearing red jeans.
No, it would look a little scary if I have to be completely honest here. So what would you guys grade it? I'm going to give them a B. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I'll go with a B. And maybe when they're actually on the field in the game, I might even increase that. But I'll go a B. How about if the font on the cap was Comic Sans STL?
At least it's not that. By the way, I think the rule is you have to be a scratch golfer to wear red pants.
Oh, okay, good. So Michelle had the tradition of wearing red pants to opening day, red jeans to opening day or playoffs.
Yeah.
And so when she left, I went to Amazon and bought red jeans and I've tried to maintain that tradition. Okay, want a fun fact? You guys like fun facts?
Of course.
So these were available. The players and everybody knew about these the City Connects in spring training. The Cardinals have that photo at MLB.com that Matthew sent us with Goldie, Arenado, and Newt Bar. They had to reshoot the photo because Jordan Walker was in the original one.
What?
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
Did. Yeah. How about that?
How did you know this information? You know everything, Randy.
I learn things when I get to the ballpark. It's fun.
Way.
Isn't that a fun fact?
I was kind of wondering. I was like, I feel like there should be at least one more person in that photo. So they had to reshoot it. They just couldn't even like edit it.
No.
It was that awkward.
He might have been in the middle. I'm not sure.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I feel like he still could have been included. But then I can understand the masses would be pretty angry of like, well, where is he?
They could have just changed the date to June 6th. That would have been easy.
Oh, that's when he's getting the call-up, because that is also bobblehead day for
night.
Jordan Walker.
Yep. NBA playoffs yesterday, they were great. The Pacers drilled the Knicks 130 to 109. Jalen Brunson broke his hand in the third quarter of that game. It was pretty much over by that point anyway. The Pacers shot 67% from the field. That was the highest shooting percentage in NBA playoff history. And the Pacers roll the Knicks, and they advanced to take on Boston in the Eastern Conference Championship Series. Denver falls to Minnesota at home, 98-90. The defending champs, led by 20 in the first half, have both Jokic and Murray score 34+ and still fall in Game 7 to the T-Wolves, who, by the way, didn't get a great performance from the Ant-Man either.
No.
But Karl Anthony Towns was what he was supposed to be when he was drafted.
Yes, he is exactly what they need in that game. But still, I feel like Anthony Edwards is a big reason why they were even able to get to this point. He is a game changer. By the way, I was wondering if we could play the post-game press conference with him and Towns today, but then there was a lot of cursing, so it'd just be a lot of bleeping in between. But Ant is just a huge personality. To me, when you're talking about having that fire, that energy, he brings that to the team. And I think that even though it wasn't exactly a great game for him, still finished with 16 points, but not his best game. He's the reason they were able to get to this point.
Did you, was it after the game or before the game when it was revealed what he said to Denver security after Game 5? We'll see you blankers for Game 7.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. PGA Championship. Xander Schauffele victory, finally in a major. He got the monkey off his back with a birdie at 18. Dramatic, high drama. And he beat Bryson DeChambeau. Minus 21 under par, the most under par ever for a major. For Xander Schauffele.
It really was dramatic all the way in the end. I'm happy for him.
Me too.
I'm happy that he was able to pull it off.
Yeah, I'm a fan. By the way, DeChambeau's minus 20, also the greatest under par ever for a major. Unfortunately, he was going against Schauffele.
How do you feel about DeChambeau?
I'm okay with him. I think
I feel like a lot of people still see him as like a villain, and because he is, I feel like you can always tell how he's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely shows it. But I don't know if you saw this video at the end when he was leaving the course. He threw the golf ball over to a young fan, and then this older guy intercepted it. He went back and started yelling at the guy, and he was like, "Give that back to me," and then gave it to the young fan.
Good.
I was like, okay, well, I know he's kind of a villain, but he used his villain powers in a good way in that moment.
I think he wants to be perceived as a really nice, good guy.
Yeah.
That's my impression, is that he really does care when people perceive him as a villain, and he doesn't want to be known as that guy.
Deep dark secret, Randy?
Yeah.
That's how all villains work.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
okay.
Sometimes it feels like live players are from the dark side.
But I think like when he was clicking his spikes in back of Brooks Koepka a few years ago, I think he was just kind of being a mild Richard, but I laughed at it. I thought it was kind of childish and funny. So Xander
Gives you a
Schauffele-
lot to talk about.
Yeah, right. Xander Schauffele wins the PGA. FC Cincinnati knocks off St. Louis City SC Saturday night by a score of 3-1. Tough loss for City SC. And the Battlehawks clinch a playoff spot yesterday with a 26-21 win over the D.C. Defenders at the Battle Dome. We will rally behind Manny Wilkins, and we will play good football. And we clinched a playoff berth.
I knew you were going to say that this morning.
Yeah.
And rally they did.
They did. Wayne Gallman, short touchdown run with 2 minutes left, gives the Battlehawks the win. And another thing I heard at the Battlehawks game yesterday is that now in the playoffs they expect 40. And if they play in the championship game here, which is a strong possibility, they think they might get more than 60,000 in the Dome.
I could see that. I can definitely see 60,000 in the Dome for the championship. We have to discuss a little bit later on in the segment today. What about the parade?
Oh, we got to think of that.
When they win,
yep,
Randy.
We need to think about that.
We have to start coming up with the plan for this.
We will. All right, we're off and running here on this edition of the Opening Drive. 3 things we loved from the weekend is coming up next.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. We've negotiated over $5 billion in settlements. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. We've won millions for victims of truck accidents, drunk driving crashes, and workers' compensation. Call Onder Law, 314 or 618-9 million. That's 314 or 618-9, all zeros.
To the 5, to the house.
Faroe Field, home sweet home for Tiger Nation on 7 Saturdays each fall. The traditions and tailgating run deep. The victories roar louder, and you can't get energy like this sitting on your couch. So don't wait. Get up and get in the game. Lock in your seats today because every seat is front row to greatness. Call 1-800-CAT-PAWS or visit mutigers.com/tickets. MIZ.
Hey, if you want a delectable lunch or an astonishing happy hour or a marvelous dinner tonight, I want you to head to the Fenton Bar and Grill because the food is absolutely sensational. I've told you about their trash wings, which are the best trash wings in the world. They're well seasoned, they're well prepared, they're absolutely yummy. But in addition to that, they have just a breathtaking menu. Fantastic wraps, delicious burgers. If you want a nice, fresh, cool salad, you can get it at the Fenton Bar and Grill. And on a beautiful day like this in St. Louis, take advantage of their fantastic patio. They have a great uncovered patio area and then a covered patio as well that's very, very comfortable. And it'll be a great time for you. And then you have to say hi to all the people out there, Kelly and Megan and Colleen and the gang. You'll have a great time at the Fenton Bar and Grill. I guarantee it. You'll love the people, and you will love the food, and you'll love the vibe at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Just 2 minutes from the soccer park. If you're at the soccer park, just follow Rudder Road to the Fenton Bar and Grill. Find it online at FentonBarandGrill.com. And when you go, tell them Randy sent you and have the best trash wings in the world.
Open up your 101 mobile app for your chance to win free tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. Featuring Willie Nelson and Family, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and Southern Avenue on September 8th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Get all the ticket details and get entered to win those free tickets for the Outlaw Music Festival right now, either at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
This is the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One.
All right, 3 things we loved about the weekend. Here is number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3 for me is a very hearty ovation for Tyler O'Neill and his return back to Busch Stadium. A round of applause. It kind of seemed like fans were a little bit hesitant to maybe fully stand, but then you saw some more do that. But I just thought it was a very classy move by the fans, the best fans in baseball, for that reason, because they made sure to show their appreciation. And you could tell if you listen to Tyler O'Neill's comments all weekend long, he talked about how much St. Louis, the fans, and also the organization meant to him. So I just thought it was a very nice move by the fans.
Brooke, number 3 for me, and I could easily put it at number 1, is witnessing again the philanthropy and the charity of the St. Louis metro area. I was over at Schnucks at De Pere on Friday just to help raise awareness of Roundup at the Register at Schnucks to benefit Folds of Honor. And people are so friendly and so caring and so giving and say, I love giving to Folds of Honor and I love rounding up at the Register. And then last night when we had the opportunity to be over at Topgolf with all the people that were contributing so much to Big League Impact, and Adam Wainwright always said it best, and it was very simple. He said, we're just trying to save the world. And here are people that are contributing to help these players who are using their platform at the best level, trying to save the world. I love seeing, if you go to Charity Navigator, St. Louis is always among the top cities in terms of our philanthropy, and I love seeing it in a weekend like this.
There's always such a big showing for events like that. And you look at Big League Impact, but so many events that you have here in town where people continue to show up and they continue to support and rally around any situation they can to help.
Yeah, pretty cool. Number 2.
Number 2 for me is going to be, the Battlehawks are playoff bound, baby. Caca is the loss. So that is going to be my number 2 for the weekend. They were able to pull off a win, as you mentioned earlier, Randy, in a very exciting fashion. And they were able to do it without A.J. McCarron, which I think says a lot about this group. Manny Wilkins, we will rally around him.
And we will play good football.
Yes. And if they can take care of business next week and San Antonio loses to the Stallions, they can clinch home field for the rest of the playoffs, leading into the championship here at the Battle Dome. So a lot of excitement around the Battlehawks right now. Congratulations to them for making it to the playoffs.
And Brooke, I'm going to go Battlehawks, but I'm going to go with the fans. 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning And there's more than 30,000 in there, and they were loud for the Battlehawks when the Battlehawks defense was on the field. The people that go to Battlehawks games are hardcore football fans and hardcore sports fans, and I really do have a great deal of admiration for them. They were the people that were hurt most by the NFL pulling the rug out from under us when the Rams left, but they're being rewarded with good football, and it's fun football, and it's a great atmosphere. But the atmosphere is what it is because of those hardcore football fans that show up. I love seeing it.
It's such a great atmosphere. Also, have you been through the tailgate in the parking lot yet?
I have, yeah. It's fun.
It is. And it's just so much fun seeing everybody tailgating going into the game. And there's just so much excitement surrounding this team right now.
Just walking through the concourse yesterday before halftime, and the way that people are dressed up and they have their caca costumes and caca jerseys, it was very cool.
Number 1.
Number 1 for me is going to be the Big League Impact event. It was such a great event last night. Kyle Gibson stepping in that role. I know it's very intimidating, especially when Adam Wainwright has been leading that, but he is the vice president of Big League Impact, and he did such a great job hosting that event. If you listen during the week, Kyle Gibson's interviews are just fantastic, and he is such a good person. He did a great job last night. All the players that showed up, but all the fans. It was a lot of fun just being able to go out in that event, and this is a really good group of guys in that room. I know that things have been tough this season, of course, and last season, but that is a really good group of guys in that clubhouse.
Rick, one thing and this is my number 1, and it's along with the group of guys, but it's the people. And when I worked as an usher, was at the ballpark every single game, and then covered the team, basically 80s, 90s up until 2000. At every single game. And I think you reach a point sometimes where you take it for granted how cool it is. But just being around the ballpark, being around the ushers, being around the concession people, talking to the people that work there on a daily basis, there really is nothing like being at the ballpark. It doesn't matter what the performance of the team is. For me, obviously, it's enhanced if the team is winning. But life can't be better than a beautiful day at the ballpark and just talking to people and living baseball. It's pretty darn cool. And I was there on Saturday and had a chance to catch up with a lot of people, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yes, you can never beat a day at the ballpark.
No, it was fantastic. So that was my number 1. And obviously, Saturday is going to be better than Sunday was when you lose. What did we lose? 11-2 yesterday?
11-3.
11-3. Okay, we scored one late. But hey, stuff happens. You're going to. I'll tell you this: if the Cardinals, and I don't think this will happen, so I'm not predicting this, but if they could go win 2 out of 3 every series the rest of the season, they'd be in the playoffs.
Oh, I just heard playoffs, Brandy.
Yeah,
so you're saying this team is going to the playoffs?
I just said that, yeah.
I just said that.
Yeah. So, but they've won 2 out of 3 in each of their last 2, and that's the key. You don't worry about when you lose a game, but just keep playing 667 ball, and you're going to be fine.
I would like to see them sweep at least this one series.
That would be fun.
I think that would help.
Yeah, it's when's our next opportunity? I really don't think we're going to sweep either of these upcoming 2 series. Do you? Orioles or Cubs?
I don't know. I don't know if I actually thought they were going to take 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Okay, I'm going to give you their they do have a 3-game sweep, don't they? Or do they? Do they have a 3-game sweep this year?
No, they haven't swept a series this year.
Oh no. Okay, so I'm going to give you one. And it's going to happen.
Because the beginning of the year, they couldn't win the first game of a series, and now they can't close it out in the 3rd game, so I don't think they have one.
So we're going to get to Memorial Day, and we are not going to sweep a series. Maybe the Reds next week. They're kind of scuffling. Then we go to Philly. See, they're back to being we after winning 2 out of 3.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Then they go to Houston. No. Oh, here you go. Well, it's a 4-gamer against the Rockies at home. And to sweep the series, you'd have to win 4 against them. That's hard to do. Not going to beat the Pirates with Skeens 3 in a row. At Chicago for 3.
Okay. So they only have 2 3-game winning streaks in the first place.
Okay.
And neither of them are sweeps.
Okay, I think, guys, we're looking at June 17th, 18th, and 19th at Miami. What do you think? Could it happen against Miami?
Miami is one of their few potential candidates. They took 2 or 3 from them earlier this year, so yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay, yeah, this is... Boy, there's not as many horrible teams. Kansas City's not bad anymore.
It's that darn balanced schedule.
How do you only have 2 win streaks?
Well, the 1982 team only had... They never lost more than 3 in a row.
It's kind of the opposite.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, we've got an early edition of Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. That's early because Joe Buck is with us at 7:45. Take It or Leave It next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke for Decor Interiors and Jewelry. I know that Mother's Day has passed, but that doesn't mean that the gift giving has to stop. So you should go visit my friends at Decor Interiors and Jewelry. It's in Chesterfield at Olive and Woods Mill Road. Right when you walk in, you will be blown away by all the options. If you don't already know, I know it's in the name, but it's a contemporary furniture store and also an incredible jewelry store in the back. The owner, Joe, he is just such a kind and nice guy, and I promise you he will treat you like family. That is actually where I got my wedding ring from, and I get compliments on it all the time. And I actually went by their store recently to pick out my wedding band, and then I spent an hour with Joe and his staff just going over all the different things they have in the store. Right now, tennis bracelets are huge and tennis necklaces. They have the best diamonds and gems in town. And one of my favorite parts is that Joe has a story for every single piece of jewelry that he has in his store. They really do know everything, and they will educate you about your purchase. So why not have them help you find the perfect gift for that person in your life? Go stop by Decor showroom today and tell them.
Matthew and Randy, time for Take It or Leave It on 101 ESPN and Kids. Dateline, New York. The jersey worn during one of the most memorable no-hitters in Major League Baseball is hitting the auction block. Jim Abbott's game-used and autographed threads back from his iconic 1993 outing. 31 years after that no-hitter, the top Abbott donned for that game is up for grabs via gray flannel auctions with a starting bid of $5,000. Take it or leave it. The top from that no-hitter should have always remained in Jim Abbott's hands.
Randy.
Randall.
I knew.
Randy.
No. I'm going to have to leave it. Why would you do that? Why do you keep talking about him so much? The sport. I just knew as soon as you said his name where this was going. I knew it would somehow take.
It's one of the great
I
stories.
knew it
of
would
all
get out of
time.
hand, Randy. Is basically what I'm saying. So I'm gonna have to leave that one. That's so bad.
What, is it too mean?
Yes, it's Monday morning. You're gonna start us out with that. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
So in NASCAR news, I sent you guys this big fight. If you haven't seen it, please go look it up currently, because in the NASCAR All-Star race last night, there was a fight between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Take it or leave it, Ricky Bobby would be so proud of that fight.
100% take it.
Okay, also, good on NASCAR's part of really leaning into it. You know how sometimes if there's a fight, they'll shy away from things. I'm not talking about NASCAR specifically, but I'm talking about other professional sports leagues. They would, shy away from that kind of stuff. NASCAR, they posted it everywhere. They put it on social media. There was an interview going on during the fight, and they cut to the fight. They were promoting the heck out of that fight. By the way, that was a cheap shot by Ricky Stenhouse. Did you see it?
Yeah.
I get that. I get the Kyle Busch is coming over to confront you. Apparently, there was a crash. They crash at lap number 2. I get that you're upset, but Kyle Busch comes over to confront him, and then Stenhouse, they're going back and forth, and then just sucker punches him, and then it gets
Unloaded
crazy.
too.
Stenhouse's father then also jumps onto Kyle Busch, but Kyle Busch's pit crew,
Ooh, they're tough guys.
yeah, they have to have some MMA training.
No doubt. Yeah, they were throwing people around. It was sensational. I loved it. And we need more of that in racing.
We need that over at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Yeah, June 1st. Be
That
there for the
is.
fight. Can I give you one more?
Yes.
Take it or leave it. No Battlehawks home game should ever start at 11 a.m. All of their games should start late afternoon or evening. So they had 32,403 yesterday. And they're going to... Those people that go to Battlehawks game, they want to get lubed up before they go to the game. So I think that they should never have an 11 o'clock in the morning start.
Well, a lot of people like to do what they call a darty, Randy.
Which is?
Day party.
Oh.
Day parties are pretty big, so
You
some
can do
people like to
that.
darty.
So maybe a 2 o'clock start then? A long tailgate, get there at 9 a.m. for the tailgate? And
Yeah,
then,
but sometimes I feel like in college, some of the best games as a fan that you'd go to were the early ones, because then you got it really early. You could have the mimosas flowing, breakfast going right before, which, I mean, of course, you can still have breakfast for the other games, but it's a different feel.
Okay. I just think it's easier to get more people through the gates
Of course.
for a later start than 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, all right, Matthew, what do I got on the text line? Is our internet might not be working?
Oh, yeah, I'm having issues getting the text line up right now.
If you refresh it, it is up.
Okay.
Somebody
there it
said, Brooke doesn't realize the punch you just made about saying out of hand. I did. I did now.
I think you do.
I think I did.
Pretty funny.
I lost all the ones that I was looking at there for a second there. Take it or leave it. If the Battlehawks make the UFL championship, it will be the last UFL championship.
I don't want to take it, but I have to. I feel bad about it.
Why, though? You don't think
it's not
sustainable?
us. It's the rest of the league. Now, they do have these partnerships, and they're getting money from the Army, and they're obviously making money from television when you have Fox and ESPN as involved. And it's good inventory for those entities. Ultimately, though, what they're going to have to do is get money from gambling. And I just don't know if and by the way, ticket sales, you're going to have some interest in the rest of the league. And we're really the only one of the 8 franchises, the only city that is showing a significant level of game day ticket buying interest.
Well, is there a way to make it work? Spring football work where you can keep this going?
Here's the thing. I think you have to be willing to lose a few dollars, and I think you have to be willing to.
Didn't the Rocc lose like $60 million or something like that?
$60 million last year.
Ew.
But I think you need to do it over a sustained period of time, not 10 years, but maybe 5 years, to give it a chance to grow.
Take it or leave it. That Jim Abbott comment should have been hands off.
Oh.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Why are we doing this?
Take it or leave it. The Cardinals do not have a winning streak longer than 5 games this season.
I'm going to leave it. I'm going to say they have.
This season?
Yeah, they're going to have a 6-game. They're going to have at least a 6-game winning streak. Maybe more. They might go 7. Didn't they lose 7? If they lost 7 in a row, they
lost 7, yes.
Yeah. So.
I am going to take it, actually. What is their longest win streak
This year?
currently?
Oh, it's just 3.
It's just 3.
Yeah, it's
okay,
twice.
because didn't I say that they wouldn't get past 4 games, a 4-game
did.
win streak?
You did.
That's what I'm testing. I'm testing your resolve.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that one.
She's leaving it. Take it or leave it. The UFL's transparency on challenge plays should be the next item on the NFL's adopt list. Can't be going into the booth to hear the breakdown of plays.
I'll take that. Yeah, I love the transparency. I don't know why the NFL is so against transparency, but they are.
Why do you think, Randy? I think you could with the NFL. I think you could say that for many different things.
This is true.
They really don't like to be
Randy,
transparent.
what did you just say there? I'm sorry, what?
Okay, that'll sometimes cost you $790 million.
Take it or leave it. Cardinals go 500 on the homestand.
Okay, we're already 2-1. So that means we would have to go in the next 6
9 games, so better than 500.
So we would have to go play 500 ball.
I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, I'm going to be rational here. Yeah, Jinx. Yeah. What is it? Jinx, buy me a Coke. Jinx, buy me a Coke. Okay, you got one more, or do you want us to move on so we can talk to Joe?
Take it or leave it. A good sandwich is the number one thing to eat.
Oh,
A good sandwich?
Good sandwich. Okay.
Take it.
Now, Matthew's taking it.
A good sandwich.
A great pasta dish is really good. A great burrito is really good.
But a really good sandwich. This is very well. They also mentioned Blue City Deli, which I haven't been there yet. I need to go by there. I keep hearing about that.
So I have Joya's accessible because it's right there on Ballas.
Yes. Oh,
and they're
that's
fantastic.
so good. I love that place. The Grands.
Meatball. Oh.
I think I'm gonna have to take this one because I do love a really, really good sandwich. It satisfies you. You're full. It hits the spot.
It is great, and normally it's quick. I think you have to throw everything in here. We have to throw in the convenience factor. I'm throwing in pizza too, but pizza's not as convenient, right?
Yeah.
It's food. Like one of the great things about a sandwich is that you can eat it while you're on the highway.
That sounds a little dangerous. I don't know if I would tell people to do that, but
we're asking them to text while they're driving. No big deal. Okay, I'll take it.
Please.
After much deliberation, I'm going to take this one.
Text and eat your sandwich.
And drive with your knees.
Yeah,
your knees can keep your
those
car
are all
going straight.
very, very safe things. Gramophone is the best sandwich spot in town. Have you been to Gramophone
I have
yet?
not. Where is it?
Oh, you haven't? It's Tower Grove, I believe.
The Grove.
Oh, the Grove.
Oh,
Excuse me. The Grove. It's really, really
I gotta
good.
get over there. All right.
And they
sounds
have delicious mac and cheese. Definitely not healthy sandwiches. I will just go ahead and tell you
good. I
that.
don't care about that.
Wait, a healthy sandwich.
All right. Joe Buck is doing the Cardinal game with Chip Caray on Friday night at Busch Stadium, Cards and Cubs. And Joe is going to join us to talk about coming back and doing Cardinal local television later this week. He's next on 101 ESPN.
Nolan Gorman the first, and he unloads. Deep right, track, wall, walk-off winner on the first pitch.
A high pop foul. The Kerber's there. The Cardinals won the pennant. The Cardinals won the pennant. The Cardinals won the pennant. Everybody out. Johnny.
Breeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
Yes, Parks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard. Go crazy.
Two names synonymous with Cardinal broadcasting. Caray, you heard Chip and Harry, and Buck, you heard Joe and Jack. And we will have a Buck and a Caray back together in the booth on Friday night at Busch Stadium as the Cards take on the Cubs on Bally Midwest, as Joe and Chip will get together. And the first time Joe has been in the local TV booth, broadcasting locally since 2007. And our great friend Joe Buck joins us now here on 101 ESPN. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing great, and I'm really excited about hearing you and Chip together in a booth. How excited are you?
I'm really excited. I mean, for a lot of different reasons. I think the first and main reason why I'm doing it is because I'm bored. Is because, honestly, my boys are old enough. They're playing coach pitch baseball, and they get it, I think, a lot more than when I was last in the baseball booth and they were there, which was the 2021 All-Star game in Denver. And for them to be down on the field, you know, I've got one boy, Blake, who will be wide-eyed and has a chance to be, I think, a better hitter than I was, certainly, which is saying nothing. And just have them around it. Know that Dad used to do that at one point in his life, and then the other part is to work with Chip and to get to do the game from the Cardinals' perspective, which will be a blast, and it's exactly how I started my career.
Joe, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So how did this all come about?
Billy DeWitt and I had been talking about it really since I hung it up at Fox, even before I stopped at Fox. And then once I did, the talks became a little bit more frequent. I can't act like anybody's begging me to do it. I think the main thing is that I wanted to kind of, you know, have a little change up here at the beginning of the summer, and was like, yeah, why not? And when Bally's called and they said, let's find a date, we found a date, and it just so happens to be Cardinals-Cubs, which is, I think, pretty ironic with Buck and Caray in the booth together, and it makes a lot of sense. So it just kind of came together.
And Joe, I texted you last week because it's shocking to me that it's been since 2007 that you've done local Cardinals. And I remember when you were having that debate, and we talked. You asked me what I would think of you leaving the Cardinal booth, and it was all about being at that time with your daughters, and now obviously with your sons, you want to spend as much time as you can with them. But was there ever a part of you that missed doing a team on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's a completely different job. I mean, we've talked about it 1,000 times, where you're always perceived to be against every fan base because, you know, you're doing the national game. Baseball's very tribal, very us against the world, and every game's on TV these days, as opposed to when you and I were growing up, Randy. And so you get used to the rhythms and the sound of your own announcers, and your own announcers have a rooting interest that align with yours. And so, I mean, if you go back and listen to highlights of a Ray Langford play at the plate knocking over Darren Dalton, and I think I'm 21 or 22 and my voice cracks and I sound like Peter Brady. I'm a little boy trying to sound like a grown man, but I'm wearing my Cardinals emotions on my sleeve. And, you know, the Cardinals are a part of my DNA. And whenever anybody would say, oh, your dad's rolling over and Jack Buck's rolling over in his grave, his kid's rooting against the Cardinals, it's like, no, it doesn't apply. I've got to really go about this an entirely different way. And I've talked to Tom Mee, the Cardinals director, when he directs for Fox games, he directs the game in a different way. So to go back and be kind of the local guy and do it the way I watch it when I'm at home, hoping the Cardinals play well and win, I think will be, it'll take some adjusting, I think, on my part, because I've done it the other way for so long, but I think it'll be a lot more fun and kind of a lot more freeing.
I think the part that everybody's looking forward to, including myself, is just hearing the stories that you and Chip will share. What is your favorite story with your dad, of course, Jack, and with Harry Caray, Chip's grandfather?
I think the main point, and I think Chip's been pretty open about the fact that he was not close with his grandfather because of familial situation, and I get that entirely. And my relationship with my dad was the opposite, and I'm sure that may come up. But I think the cool thing is my dad started in the 50s with Harry. Harry was the lead guy and let my dad certainly know that he was the lead guy, and my dad wasn't. My dad was a, out of nowhere guy who came up from the minor leagues. And so there was a little bit of tension there. And the cool thing for me was to know that was the history, and then to see them get together as older men when the Cubs would come to town, and Harry and Dutchie, his wife, and my mom and dad would go out to dinner after day games or whatever. I remember they went to Tony's one time, and when the four of them walked in, the whole place got up and gave them a standing ovation, and they could have jokes and really got along as older people, and so their relationship kind of ended on the right note. And I think that's the coolest part of it, is that the two people really had a lot of mutual respect for one another.
You know what else is cool, Joe, about this weekend is that there are people that are listening now, 20 years old, that have never heard you do a local Cardinal game. You're going to provide a completely different audience and generation your Cardinal fandom. And I know that, like you said, people think that you root against the Cardinals because of the fact that you're balanced on national TV.
Yeah, I mean, listen to the Travis Ishikawa home run. And that's the way you have to do a national game when he won the pennant for the Giants in San Francisco. And that's, you either cash a check and do your job, or, you go back and do the local games, which are great, but it changes your career entirely. So you're right. I mean, yeah, there's even more that haven't really heard my dad do a game. Mm-hmm. So and certainly they think Harry Caray's the guy that Will Ferrell makes fun of on SNL, and there's nothing more to it. So there's a little bit of education, too, I think, for younger fans that, my dad died over 20 years ago, so it's been a while, and it's been a while for me on the Cardinal broadcast, and it's been a while for anybody to hear my dad do a live game.
You are on your way to New York for the Sports Emmys tomorrow night, nominated for Outstanding Personality and Play-by-Play. We wish you luck. Man, that's a deep field, isn't it, with yourself, Mike Breen, Ian Eagle, Kevin Harlan, Mike Tirico. There's a lot of good play-by-play guys out there right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's the most subjective thing ever. So, I've won them before and I've lost them before. And I think the only reason why I'm going, to be honest with you, is my daughters are in New York. So if ESPN can pay for a flight for me to go to New York and see my girls, great. If I come home with a trophy, fine. If I don't, I've already got them.
There you go. That's perfect. Hey, we love you. Thanks so much for the time, and we're looking forward to Friday night and having you back in that Cardinal booth, Joseph.
All right, guys. See ya.
Hey, one more thing.
Yeah.
Did you have fun at the Battlehawks game yesterday?
Not only did I have fun, but a box full of 6-year-olds had a blast, and to hear that place loud again was just awesome. We loved it. It was a great game. They ended up winning, and you were educating me on who everybody was, which was nice, and we loved every minute of it, and they could not have been better to us, so it was great.
Good deal. All right, Joe, have a safe flight, good trip to New York, say hi to your daughters, and good luck tomorrow night.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you, brother. That is Joe Buck with us on 101 ESPN. How about that field? who do you vote for? And we love Joe because he's our guy, right? But if you do look at it just objectively, and you say, okay, do I choose Mike Breen, or do I choose Joe Buck, or do I choose Ian Eagle? Do I choose Kevin Harlan? Do I choose Mike Tirico? I don't know what I would do. If I didn't know any of those people, I don't know who I would pick.
Yeah, and it's the who's who.
Yeah.
Joe is so funny. Also, one of my favorite things that he does is when he decides to go on a spree of clapping back at people on social media. So if we were giving out awards for that, I would give him an award for the best clapbacks on social media.
He's a social media wizard.
I send them to you all the time. I'm like, I need him to do more of this.
He's great. So Joe Buck, Chip Caray, and Chip will join us, by the way, at 8:45 today, but they'll be on the air on Friday night, Cards and Cubs. Caray and Buck reunited in the Cardinal booth, so it'll be a lot of fun for that 7 o'clock game, 7:15 game, 6:30 pregame on Bally Sports on Friday. Coming up next year on 101 ESPN, we've got our fresh take. Frank Cusimano aired an interview with Cardinal Pobo John Mozeliak last night, and we'll react a little bit to what Mo had to say next on 101 ESPN.
Well, most of my family understands not to read things and not to follow social media. I will say, like, it's hard for someone like myself to just say, oh, I can ignore it, because that's impossible. I certainly get the sense that the city is tiring of me, and the vocal minority is getting louder and louder, and the only thing that can change that course is we start playing better.
That's an interview that our friend Frank Cusimano had with Cardinals Pobo John Mozeliak, Mo, last night on Channel 5. And you can see that on their YouTube channel, KSDK's YouTube channel, or by going to ksdk.com. You can see it in its entirety. But, Brooke, I've never experienced the Cardinals being in last place for a season plus. And I'm old. So most people that are Cardinal fans, if you started following the Cardinals in 2000, this is something that is not only something that you've never experienced, but probably in your mind is unacceptable. So I get why people, and I use the term Mo fatigue, which I think is basically what he's saying. I don't think the vocal minority is getting louder as much as it is getting bigger. I think that it's, rather than a minority, I would say that it's a majority now.
I thought that was a very interesting way to phrase that, with vocal minority now is becoming the vocal majority here. It kind of sounds like he's about to file a noise complaint almost. All right, you guys need to keep it down a little bit. I'm going to file a noise complaint here if you don't, calm down just a wee bit. I agree with you, Randy. I think that it's getting bigger, and it's something that, look, we're not trying to take away everything that he's done with his resume with the Cardinals. Of course not. But recency bias, you have to look at, what are you doing for me now? The results are the results. And this is not something that was just a one-off year. We're seeing that this is a continuation and something that has been growing over the past few years, where you're in a situation where you start to look at, one, why when players leave this organization, they are really, really successful and do well. And it seems like their talents are being maximized elsewhere. One, you could look at some of the trades, and also, two, the situation they're in right now with the starting rotation. It's a very expensive starting rotation, but now you somehow have found yourselves in a position where you need a number 5 starter.
Yep. And you make a great point there, because it is beyond just playing better. This is now a long-term issue, the inability to develop pitchers. The Cardinals have 23 pitchers on their 40-man roster that are available to come and pitch for them right now. 23 of them. 4 were drafted by the Cardinals and have been here throughout their career. Helsley, the Leahy. I've got it here. I sent it to you guys. It's really, to me, amazing that the Cardinals have. I didn't realize it was that dramatic, but yet they just don't have. Helsley, Leahy, Palante, Thompson are the only 4 on the 40-man that have been here. Lance Lynn, drafted by the Cardinals, left for a long time and came back. So if you want to count him, then make it 5 out of 23. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, they do need to do a better job of developing the pitchers they have. And like you said, you look at what Jack Flaherty is doing this year. You look at what Jordan Hicks is doing this year. It's not the people that they have. It's the development of the people.
You have to wonder, too, because it does go to roster construction, but you wonder if there's enough in the Cardinals organization to help develop these players, especially on the pitching side. You have to be able to do that, or your starting rotation is going to continue to be super expensive, which when people say they don't spend money on the team, we've discussed this at length. They do spend money, but how well are they spending the money? Are they spending it smartly? And we see with the starting rotation currently, Sonny Gray, a home run with bringing him into the organization, but now it seems like you have several number 5 starters, but you still need another number 5. And you don't have much depth in your organization pitching-wise. So what can the Cardinals do in this situation? I guess I should say, what could Oli Marmol do in this situation? Who can he call up?
Nobody.
They would have called up McGreevy if he was ready. They would have called up Graceffo if he was ready. They would have called up Zach Thompson, or they would have brought him back if he was ready. They would have called up Sim Robertson if they thought that he was ready for the situation. But then again, I don't know if I would want to put Sim Robertson in this situation and worry about, are we pushing another prospect a little bit too soon? And what is that going to do to his development?
Mo is obviously hearing it from the fans who want his head. But what about inside the organization? He and Frank Cusimano talked about how he feels about his job security.
Do you worry at all about your job security?
Do I?
Yeah.
Not in the sense that most people think about it. Like, I certainly understand I'm responsible for this, and I know if it doesn't go right, then I should be held accountable for it. But if I were to never work another day again in baseball, I'll be okay. I'll figure out something to do. Like, it's not where I was, 15, 20 years ago, and I would have been fired. It would have been much more devastating. And, but I take a lot of pride in what I do and what we try to do here as an organization. And, I hope it doesn't end that way, but I certainly understand it's plausible.
I don't think the DeWitt family will fire John Mozeliak. I think they could rehome him. I think that he could wind up in a different part of the organization. I believe that as long as John Mozeliak, and this is just speculation on my part, nothing that I've heard from anybody, but I would believe that with all he's done for this organization, that he'll be employed by the organization, maybe in a different role, as long as he wants to.
That's what I was going to ask you is what does accountability look like? He says that if so, he needs to be held accountable. So far, I think he does need to be held accountable. He talked about last year that roster construction, it wasn't All-Amor Mall. It was roster construction that was the issue. Right now, it looks like roster construction once again, which all points back to him. So what does accountability look like?
That's somebody else being there. And Brooke, let's just look at it this way. In 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, the Cardinals went to the National League Championship Series. And in a couple of those years, they went to the World Series. In 2015, they won 100 games. And since 2015, their overall level of success has not been as great. But I think the other thing to be looking at here is the teams that have consistently won. The Phillies have gone from being an also-ran on a regular basis to a consistent title contender. The Dodgers have done that. The teams doing it in different ways. The Braves have done that. The Milwaukee Brewers have done that better than the Cardinals. The Cubs have... Since the Cardinals had that run, 2011, 12, 13, 14, the Cubs have gone from bad to good to bad to good. All right? And the Cardinals seem to be on a steady decline. So I think the Cardinals need to be concerned about the fact that they have been passed up in the way that they go about winning by a lot of organizations, and they don't seem to have a reason why. They're throwing stuff at the wall by signing 5 free agent pitchers or using a bunch of players that are 20 years old that were playing high school baseball 2 years ago. It seems like they're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, and I don't detect. I know what Atlanta's doing. I know what the Braves are trying to do. I know what the Dodgers are trying to do. And with all the money that they've spent, they're still doing an unbelievable job of developing. I know what Houston. I know what Houston is trying to do. I don't really know what the Cardinals are trying to do. And I feel like I pay attention. And I know when they were doing what they were doing to succeed, you can't do that anymore. It doesn't exist for a couple of reasons. Number one, revenue sharing. The Pirates are going to sign Paul Skeens. They're going to be able to keep him around. They're going to be able to sign O'Neill Cruz because of revenue sharing. It used to be that if the Pirates had those guys, they would trade them. Same thing with the Reds with Elly De La Cruz. They're going to be. They've signed Votto to a $200 million contract. They're going to keep Elly De La Cruz. So the Cardinals used to be able to cherry pick and go get an Edgar Renteria or a Jim Edmonds or a Darryl Kyle, and that ability to acquire talent isn't there anymore. So, and there's the rare occurrence, sure, where you can go get a Goldie or an Arenado. Cardinals built a team in 2000 doing that. So what they need to do is develop better, especially because of the market that they're in. People might not believe it, but they are a mid-revenue team. They aren't they aren't with the Yankees, Dodgers, Braves in terms of making money, and they can't spend that way. So they need to develop players, and that goes back to Mo.
Do you think, and this is just my personal opinion, but you brought up the Braves and Dodgers. In my personal opinion, two things that I observe with those two organizations and teams is they are reactive or they're proactive rather than being reactive. Yep. I think the Cardinals are more reactive than they are proactive. And if you're constantly being reactive, then you're falling behind. So you're always playing catch up to other organizations. That's what it feels like right now, is that they're more reactive rather than proactive. Another thing with the Dodgers and Braves is it seems like there's a cohesive message from top to bottom in the organization. There's a lot of resources that they have for their players, even down to the training staff, extra resources for them. And they really get to the bottom of that, and they have a lot of resources for their players. And also, I mean, you've talked about it before. Look at the coaching staff that the Braves have. Look at all the resources that the Dodgers coaches have for the players, because a lot of players now, they do outsource their help. And I think that's something that a lot of people should know. A lot of the players, they go work with other hitting coaches who have nothing to do with the organization. Maybe they work with another big star that they want to be like, different things like that. But with the Dodgers and the Braves, I'm sure those guys do have hitting coaches and stuff as well outside the organization, but the organization also provides a lot of resources for them because they want to make sure there's a cohesive message. Right now, it feels like with the Cardinals, just from my perspective, from top to bottom, there is not that singular message of what they're looking for. And I don't know if there's enough resources, because somebody texted in from the 314, and this is a good point. Roster construction, sure, but the coaching roster construction can't seem to help our talented players. That's why they keep having to send them down. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. They do need more resources. So it's roster construction plus not having enough resources in the organization for the coaching staffs. I think that that is a big part of what we're seeing currently over the past few years.
That's a great point. And if we're getting a mixed message, then the players, they're accepting a mixed message, because if they're, for example, if a player is outsourcing a hitting coach and is only listening to the hitting coach and doesn't appreciate what he's getting from the Cardinal organization, Turner Ward or whomever the hitting coach might be, maybe the situation should be changed so that there's another resource for the hitter to utilize that's still within the organization but isn't exactly what Turner Ward is trying to do, and maybe is more in line with what the player is trying to do, but the team still has control over what the player is learning. Now, are you ever going to be able to completely stop hitters from outsourcing and using their personal hitting coaches? No. But I think there is probably, when we talk about a Cardinal way, there's probably a better way to develop a cohesive system, as you say, so that you can get everybody on the same page, because I don't think that everybody is on the same page here.
And that's what it feels like, and that's why you're seeing just kind of this mess currently that I believe within the organization, where it doesn't seem like there is a message from top to bottom. And that does start with ownership. It does start with the front office, because do you think that, I mean, think about it. When they got rid of Mike Schilt, that was 18 years of experience with the organization that left. Ollie Ramal, moving him up, that's experience they had in the minors. It seemed like there was more of just a message that was throughout the organization prior to that. And then when you start losing some of those pieces to the puzzle, you don't have a lot of those guys in the organization. Randy, you've brought this up. Where's the catching instructor right now? Well, is there any in the minors?
No, not that I can find, and that's what I've been told. And
what about a pitching lab?
That's they've talked about a pitching lab, and it hasn't happened. And it's not just those. And by the way, the Orioles in town, they have a major league catching instructor in addition to a minor league catching instructor. But you look at the Orioles right now, they have an upper level pitching coordinator and a lower level pitching coordinator, in addition to pitching coaches at each of their levels. And they have an assistant pitching coordinator. They've got an upper level hitting coordinator and a lower level hitting coordinator, and an infield coordinator and an outfield coordinator. Things that the Cardinals just don't. And by the way, the infield coordinator for the Orioles, Tim DeJohn, the son of Mark DeJohn, who is a legendary Cardinal minor league coordinator. Legendary. And he left when Mike Schilt got fired because they were best friends, and he thought that Schilt was mistreated. So Tim DeJohn is in the Orioles organization teaching fundamentals there. I would absolutely agree with you that there appears to be a lack of fundamental baseball teaching at the Cardinal minor league level. And that's just based on job titles. I don't know who's going down there and doing it, but I do know for a fact that there is not a catching instructor. When you have 3 young catchers, 2 with less than a year of experience at the major league level, and another that's a top 30 prospect in your system, that have no catching instructor. Criminal. Stupid, right? That's your product. Why not nurture your product? It's not criminal. It's just foolish to me. You know, if you have athletes, you have to coach them.
Exactly.
You can't expect them just to get better.
No, especially the younger players. Like we've seen Jordan Walker sent down to the minors once again.
Yeah.
And so you can't just say, okay, a lot of these prospects are overhyped. I understand that there is going to be some overhyped prospects, but you're telling me that everybody's getting one of these prospects wrong. It's not just the Cardinals that are evaluating these guys. It's Baseball America. It's all these other national organizations that always get it right. There's a trend there, and you have to wonder why they're not able to maximize the talents. And it starts at the minor league level and the major league level. there has to be more resources for these players to make sure that you can get the most out of them so that you aren't in this situation over and over again.
We're going to touch on this at the top of the 9 o'clock hour, and then we do want to get mic drops from you via the mic drop feature in the 101 ESPN app. What did you think of Frank's interview with John Mozeliak last night? Next up, though, Kerbs here on 101 ESPN. You know, the Cardinals have started hitting a bunch of home runs, and I'm going to tell you why. It's what Schnucks is doing. If the Cardinals hit a home run, you score a free donut the next day at Schnucks. So the Cardinals are trying to give you free donuts. That's what it comes down to. It's donuts for dingers, and it's every single game for the rest of the season. So when you're watching the game and you see a Cardinal home run, you know that you can go to Schnucks the next day for a free, freshly made, delicious donut from the best bakery in town. All you have to do is clip the digital coupon in the Schnucks Rewards app the next morning. Make sure you have the Schnucks Rewards app downloaded and ready to go because you'll have to hurry. This is while supplies last. You already know that Schnucks has the best donuts in town, right? And they taste even better when they are free. So here's what you need to do. Pay attention to the Cardinals. A bunch of home runs over the course of this month. They're averaging more than a home run a game. And when they hit one, you get a donut free the very next day. Donuts for dingers when the Cardinals hit a home run. What a deal that is. Only in the Schnucks Rewards app. Kerber, the voice of your St. Louis Blues, joins us now here on 101 ESPN. The hockey playoffs have been great, and now we're closing in. We've got a Game 7 tonight, closing in on the conference finals. Kerbs, good morning. How you doing?
Randy, I'm awesome today. How are you guys?
Everything's good, and I like the idea of new teams in the finals. Now, Florida is playing very well, but it's not like they've been a traditional powerhouse. Do you like the fact that you've got some new blood in there?
I do. I also like the fact that we're going to see another Game 7 tonight, that we've had, I think, a few, great Game 7s already. And if the Vancouver Canucks pull this one out tonight and end up winning this, in the conference finals, you've got the top 4 teams in the league.
How about that? Yeah.
And that's, if you think about the amount of upsets or how close the level of play is, and frankly, sometimes how little a difference in the quality of team between 1v4 and 1v8 maybe on a given year, you could have the top 4 seeds and the top 4 teams in the conference finals, and I think it's been fantastic and kind of played out that way too.
Kerbs, we'll get to back to playoffs here in a minute, but I wanted to ask you about Chief having a new home. He's now the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think something that a lot of people thought. I know a lot of other teams wanted him as well, but why was this the right fit for him?
I'm sure they're paying pretty well. So, I'm going to take a guess and say that Chief probably had an offer from another team along the way here and said, no, I think I'm going to hold out and wait a minute, see how things shake out. I'm excited as all heck for the very first, for the press conferences, guys. He's got such a terrific personality. I think it was Pierre LeBrun that likened him to kind of how Pat Quinn would maybe handle the media when Pat Quinn was head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm like, oh, that's actually a really good comparison. The media in Toronto isn't going to change, but Craig Berube will answer questions honestly, and then he'll just say, no, I don't think we're going to talk about that one. Mm-hmm. And who's going to say I disagree with you with him, right?
Right.
So, listen, this is a great fit because he's going to bring, I think that's a team that's ready now for that next level, and that next level is a little bit more fire and brimstone, a little bit more just the confidence of the coach. And Sheldon Keefe proved to be, and look at his record, I think a terrific coach there in Toronto. Just couldn't get him over the hump in the playoffs. But the difference right here is now you've got a team, with Craig Berube having won a Stanley Cup and proven himself, it's sort of like Ken Hitchcock when he came to St. Louis. Like, okay, now I know I got a coach that's won a Stanley Cup, so none of you in the locker room are going to be able to sit there and say it's our coach, right? And it brings everything square onto the players, and I think it's something Toronto desperately needed.
And I think one of the things they in the past, like even with a Babcock there who'd won, they came up with excuses. And one thing we know about Craig Berube, there are going to be no excuses with that team.
You know what? There never was an excuse from Craig Berube, was there?
No.
From sometimes saying, no, our best players just aren't playing the best, don't talk about the hand pass in front of the media. You're just going to sound like a bunch of sore blanket losers, right? That's what he told the team after that hand pass game. And you're absolutely right. There was always a reason. There's always an excuse. Look at the Edmonton Oilers. Now, the Edmonton Oilers have a chance to get to the conference finals here, and Chris Knobloch has done a heck of a job since coming in and replacing Woodcroft in that situation there. But the Edmonton Oilers, they don't have a goalie. They don't have this. In Toronto, they didn't have a goalie, and maybe the defense isn't tough enough. There's the too much money spent for the top 4 guys from a cap standpoint. And now you got a guy that comes in and just says, "Yeah, I don't care about all that. Go get the puck out of the corner and put it in the net. Anybody got a problem? Okay, let's go." And that's going to be the approach that he has, and. It still works in the National Hockey League. You have to have a team that's ready and hungry to win. And I think that's another key part of this, guys. And I think you can pull it all back to the Blues in this situation, too. But you eventually do get to a point where the players have done enough losing, and they're good enough players, and they're quality players. They've got to compete in them, where now they're ready to pay the price. And when you get a coach then that can teach them how to pay the price, it can be really good. And I would look for some great things from Toronto next year. I really would.
Hey, Kerbs, we know as Blues fans how lucky we are to have Tom Stillman as the chairman. And Tom is going to join us here in studio at 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning. And he does this every year. Here's the guy who's where the buck stops, and he joins us every year. And you work for him, and you work for the organization that he's in charge of. What's it like on a daily basis? Is it like it is for us as fans when Tom Stillman is around?
It really is. Listen, I'll go. I'm not even going out on a limb on this, but you'll understand my small little asterisk. But it's the best ownership group the St. Louis Blues have ever had. Okay, and the only glitch is there's been so many different eras of Blues ownership. Like, you've had owners that have come in and saved the franchise. So is it fair to really say that? When you listen to Bobby Plager and Phil Roberto and these others talk about what it was like to play for the Solomons, you understood that era. So it's recency bias to some degree, but obviously the championship, what they've done, the building of the ice rinks, the commitment to youth hockey around town, what they've done under the leadership of Chris Zimmerman that Tom brought in, and how they've done it. It really is one of the greatest, it is the greatest era of Blues hockey. And to that end, he has a very family-like approach to running this organization. He runs it hard. I mean, he runs it very, he has his goals. He has his way of doing business. He has his ways of running his franchise. But there's no doubt that they put every resource possible into the on-ice product for the fans. And, guys, I can tell you this right now. He wants another Stanley Cup championship as bad as he wanted that first one. He really does. So, listen, we're actually now that Kroenke's gone, right? We're actually extremely fortunate with the ownership groups of all three franchises.
We are.
And I know people are down. They're down on the Cardinals right now, whatever. Look, you just had 20 years of amazing baseball, competitive baseball, and yes, the expectations should still be there, right? But look at the commitment to the city, to the building, the ballpark village, what they do in the community, the quality people that work for the Cardinals. The same thing with the Blues, and you're seeing now, city, grab a hold of some things. We now that we got rid of the bad one, or the bad one decided to leave, right? We've got three fantastic ownership groups running franchises in this town, and I think we should all be very fortunate and look at it that way when we do.
Kerb's, always good to hear your voice. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it, and have a great week.
All right. Have an awesome week, you guys. Cheers.
Same to you. Yep. That is Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues, here on 101 ESPN. And by the way, I just got word during our conversation with Kerbs that Tom Stillman was going to join us in studio on Wednesday. So we're looking forward to that.
I'm really looking forward to it. I really appreciate just how open and honest the Blues organization is and how transparent they are when they come in. They're willing to come in and do the interviews, the hard questions, end of season press conferences, all that different kind of stuff. I think it's great that their willingness, I think is the best way to put it, their willingness to do that. And the Cardinals have officially, provided this to me. You see, I thought that's what you were talking about at first, and that's where you were going. But yes, the City Connects are out. Breaking news. Breaking news. And they look just like they did on Friday night. They look good. They like them. I like them. They're good. Are you okay with leaks for jerseys, by the way? Yeah, I am. I'm fine with it. I kind of like it. I was going to say, I kind of like spoilers. I'm the type of person where I would read the ending of the book first because I don't want to be surprised. Yeah. I'll look up what's happening in a movie, basically know the whole plot going into it. Yeah, tell me now. I want to know now. No, totally. So, yeah, but they're a good-looking City Connects, so that's good. There's a lot of people who hate them. Really? I think people are just predisposed to hating things. Have they seen some of the other City Connects? Right. Now, I will say my all-time favorite will still be the Nationals with the cherry blossoms, but you brought it up. They're gray outside of that, outside the cherry blossoms. But some people just have that personality where they really like gray. I feel like where they really like gray. Frandy. I like gray. In this room, I am the gray supporter here. But I think they look fine. I don't really have an issue with it. No, I like it too. Especially, do we need to see the Guardians again and their pillars? Yeah. Well, the thing is, if we're in the stands, we don't see the pillars. That's a good thing. So the pillars nobody can tell unless you're wearing them and you look down and you're a player and you say, what the hell is this? And then you got to watch the video. I think if you have to go out and over-explain the meaning of your jersey and really break it down, because imagine the poor fans that have to do that. Well, like the significance of this, and then it looks like that. No. Yeah, the Cardinals did explain that the Lou is a product of Nelly, which is, that's a good thing. But it does say the Lou on the front. Anyway, they're out officially. You can go to the Cardinal website or go to the Cardinal social media pages and see them. The fight is next. Matthew, do you need a fighter? All right, so if you want to fight, text in 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Put your name and the word fight and maybe you. What's wrong? We're good. I was late. He was late. That's fine. It's Monday. Maybe you will fight me next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, Classic Air Care is a company that will be at your house to make your house comfortable when your air conditioner breaks. That's it. It's that simple, and that's what you need to keep in mind. If you start to hear a rattle, if it's just not putting out the quality of coolness that you want for your house, if it's just making sounds on the outside that it's not supposed to make, whatever it may be, call the folks at Classic Air Care. Again, it's simple. You want your air conditioner working in the summertime. It may break down, and when it does, you call Classic Air Care, or you go online to classicaircare.com and you set up an appointment. Check out the reviews. There's a link right at the top of the webpage where it's got all the different reviews, a 4.8 Google rating, and they're extremely proud of that rating. They're extremely proud of the service they provide. They are your neighbors. They're local. The people that are coming into work on your house are the people you might see watching a hockey game with you at the bar. It's Classic Air Care. Go to classicaircare.com and make sure that AC unit is ready to go for the summer. They've been making people comfortable since 1926.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take 2 out of 3 from the Boston Red Sox, unfortunately dropping the final 11-3 as they miss out on another sweep. They will start a series against the Baltimore Orioles tonight. It'll be a 6:45 first pitch. Dean Kramer faces off against the Cardinals. The righty for the Orioles takes the mound, facing off against Sonny Gray for the Cardinals. Gray for the Cardinals is 5-2 on the season with just over a 3.0 ERA. And over the weekend, the NHL playoffs, Panthers finished off the Bruins, the Stars finished off the Avs, but the Oilers forced a Game 7 in their series with the Canucks winning 5-1 in Game 6 on Friday. And also over the weekend, unfortunately, St. Louis City SC, another loss, this time 3-1 to FC Cincinnati. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
To the opening drive. It is time for the fight. Brooke, Rocc, and Randy here. And our fighter today is Sam. Sam, how are you doing this morning?
Great.
Great. Okay. Are you excited?
I am.
Is this your first time facing Randy in the fight?
No, I did it one other time. He beat me, 2-3 or something. I haven't forgot that yet.
And he always remembers, too. He always remembers. Yeah. Are you ready to face Randy in the fight?
I sure am.
Okay, here's question number 1, Sam. Who won the 2018 PGA Championship at Berube, which now has the third lowest total field score in major history? Was it Tiger Woods, Jon Rahm, or Brooks Koepka?
Wasn't Tiger. I'll say Rahm.
All right, following his 11 seasons and 11 All-Star games with the Cardinals, Ken Boyer was traded in the 1965 offseason to which National League team? Was it the Giants, the Dodgers, or the Mets?
Randy will know this one. Giants, Dodgers, Mets. Let's go the Giants.
Question 3. Which longtime AFC West linebacker was known for wearing long sleeves his whole career because of his aggressive grass allergy? Was it Junior Seau, Bill Romanowski, or Donnie Edwards?
No idea. Can you give me the options again?
Junior Seau, Bill Romanowski, or Donnie Edwards?
Let's go to the guy I don't even know, Donnie Edwards.
When going into Sunday of a major with a lead, Tiger Woods went 14-1 in his career. Who was the one golfer to beat him? Was that Bob May, Rocco Mediate, or Y.E. Yang?
Yang.
All right, we'll double-check the score, and we'll bring in Randy Carricker.
How are you feeling, Sam?
Too many guesses, I have a feeling.
Those were tough, and he kind of got into the weeds with that third question.
Hey.
Pun intended.
Hey, good job. I like that. I didn't even catch the fun of it. That was good. I like that.
Randy is now in the room with us. Grapes, are they demolished?
They're gone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Good.
There's your grapes update, Sam. I know that everybody likes to know if the grapes are fueling him, and they are.
And Schnucks has great grapes right now. Head on over to your local Schnucks store and pick up some grapes. Download the Schnucks Rewards app first.
Cha-ching. Where's the cha-ching? Randy, say hi to Sam.
Sam, good morning. How you doing?
Great. Good morning.
Good to have you with us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, I always try and make it on my way in. I try and time my drive in.
That's very nice of you. Thank
great.
you.
All right. Are you ready for question number 1, Randy?
Ready.
Who won the 2018 PGA Championship at Berube, which now has the third lowest total field score in major history?
Third lowest, huh? I'm going to go with, I'll go with Brooks Koepka.
Yes. Brooks Koepka.
Yeah. Tiger would have won it if it wasn't for that tee shot on 17.
Randy, following his 11 seasons and 11 All-Star games with the Cardinals, Ken Boyer was traded in the 1965 offseason to which National League squad?
I believe he was traded. He played for both the Doyers and the Mets, but I think he was traded to the Mets. I'm going to go with the Mets.
Final answer?
Yeah. Might have been the Doyers, but I'll go with the Mets.
Final
answer.
Okay, just making sure. Which longtime AFC West linebacker was known for wearing long sleeves his whole career because of his aggressive grass allergy, excuse me. That's important.
I don't even know. So I'll have to do the lifeline here and take a 33% chance.
Okay. Your options are Junior Seau, Bill Romanowski, or Donnie Edwards.
Okay, Bill Romanowski would have found a medication.
What a response. That's so good.
So I'm going to go with either Donnie Edwards or Junior Seau. I think I'm aggressive grass allergy. Something that Ricky Williams did not have.
Oh, okay.
Super tough.
I'm going to go with Donnie Edwards, I guess. I seem to remember him always wearing that white long sleeves under his red jersey in Casey. I'll go with Donnie Edwards.
When going into Sunday of a major with a lead, Tiger Woods went 14-1. Who was the one that beat him?
Oh, that was. I'm going to go with Bernhard Langer, but I don't remember if it was or not. But I'm going to go with Bernhard Langer.
All right. We have a winner in today's fight. Maybe this means we won't have any tiebreakers this week, hopefully, after having like 4 last week. So, an outright winner in today's fight. Sam has not faced off against Randy in a little bit of time. Does he come away with a victory on a Monday, or does Megamind roll on? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis, with the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Just win, baby.
I'm sorry, Sam. Randy Carricker just barely edged you out. He beat you 3-2 today. Good job.
Oh, same as last time.
Yeah, he got you again. Sorry about that. Let's go to those questions and those answers. It was, in fact, Buck+Caray who won the 2018 PGA Championship at Berube. Now, the third lowest total field score in major history. The total field score at Berube was about 30 over. The lowest ever was about 25 over. And then this weekend, Valhalla total field score was 230 under.
It's a dog track.
250 strokes.
Wow.
Lower than the next closest in major championship history. It was wet, and they absolutely just destroyed that course.
Amazing.
They attacked the living daylights out of it. Following 11 season and 11 All-Star games with the Cardinals, by the way, he didn't make an All-Star game every year. They had 2 back then, if you didn't forget. But he didn't make 11 All-Star games in 11 years. But then Ken Boyer was traded to the Mets in 1965 from the Cardinals, which a long-time AFC West linebacker was known for wearing long sleeves his whole career. It was, in fact, Donnie Edwards. Every game he played for the Chargers and the Chiefs, that man was wearing long white sleeves. By the way, Jalen Hurts. One of the wide receivers hurts. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Alan Hurts.
Alan. He has the exact same condition, and he actually has the exact same thing. When the Jaguars signed him to a big contract, I found a USA Today story that was like, Jaguars signed receiver to big contract who's scared of grass. And I was like, well, that's a little rude, don't you think?
Now you know why I said we got into a little in the weeds.
I like that one.
I find that so interesting to have a grass allergy.
He had a grass allergy. He was like, I'm playing football, and so he just wore long sleeves the entire time.
Odds against him.
I loved it.
Really?
Donnie Edwards is a monster, very underrated player for his generation. And last question: when going into Sunday with a major with a lead, Tiger Woods went 14-1 in his career. Randy Carricker, we got to go back to the 2009 PGA Championship, the first ever major win by an Asian golfer, the first ever win for Mr. Y.E. Yang. He became known as the Tiger Killer that day because he's the only one to ever come back against Tiger on a Sunday to beat him. 2009 Y.E. Yang in the PGA Championship. But a 3-1 win for Randy Carricker, or 3-2 win, I should say, for Randy Carricker in the fight today. Thank you so much again for your time today, Sam.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
You too, Sam. Have a great day. Coming up, Chip Caray on 101 ESPN. Hey, guys, it doesn't matter what age you are. Low testosterone can be an issue with any guy, and that's why we have Mentality. Mentality has 2 great clinics in the St. Louis metro area, in Chesterfield and in South County, and you can find them and make an appointment at lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com. Thousands of St. Louis guys have already utilized the benefits of Mentality, where they restore your testosterone level with an FDA-approved testosterone treatment. They have board-certified physicians. They have wonderful nurses who are going to walk you through the process, and then you go in every week and you get the treatment, and your testosterone level is restored, and that allows you to restore your energy, your motivation that maybe you have dealt with over the years. Maybe you've been moody or irritable or not as mentally sharp. Well, at Mentality, they have everything they have so that they can help you as guys perform better and perform normally at all levels. You can get back to being that energetic guy you were in your 20s and your 30s by going to Mentality at lowtusa.com.
Kyle Nelson answers the Chevy call to the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. Nolan Gorman the first, and he unloads deep
Left field, base hit. The tying run is in. Here's another man racing for third. There goes Boyer to second with a double. The Cardinals have tied it up.
Freeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
High pop ball. The Kerber's there. The Cardinals won the pennant. The Cardinals won the pennant. The Cardinals won the pennant. Everybody out. Johnny. Everybody congratulating everybody. I don't know if they'll ever get here. I don't know if they'll ever get here. The Cardinals have just won the pennant.
Caray and Bucks synonymous with broadcasting excellence with the Cardinals and in St. Louis over the years, and one of the great Cardinal broadcasters with the last name of Caray joins us now on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Chip, who is the TV voice of the Cardinals. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Brady. Good morning.
We had Joe on earlier. Looking forward to Friday night when you and he will share a booth. And this is going to be the first time that, I know you guys have been coworkers, but you've never shared a booth. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, when we worked together, we were with Fox. Joe was in the booth, and I was doing the pre- and post-game stuff and reporting. So, yeah, we've never actually called balls and strikes together, so we're looking forward to that.
How long have you guys been working on this? Because wasn't Joe one of the first people to text you when you got the job here in St. Louis?
He was, but it's not something that's been really long in making. I think the guys at Bally Midwest had the idea. They asked me, "Hey, would you like to do something like that?" You know me, if it's different and fun and unique, I'm willing to try it. And I said, "Sure, let's do it." And they reached out to Joe, and he was obviously excited about breaking up the monotony of raising kids and getting ready for football games. So they'll come out on Friday for the Cubs game. It'll be a blast.
I would think that not especially because Joe's going to enjoy it too, but your grandfather worked with Joe's dad. You are getting an opportunity to work with Joe, and you've got your kids, and you had a chance to watch your dad as a kid when he was doing the Braves games. You've got 4 generations. Joe's got at least 2 and maybe a third, and Joe's sister is in broadcasting here in the St. Louis area. It really is kind of a family affair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Really, it's because I'm not qualified to do anything else. So it's really just sort of what I was able to do. But no, it's a really, really cool thing. It's a real thrill for a parent to see your kids want to do what you do and then go do it and hopefully do it well. I'm lucky enough to have experienced that as a son and now as a father too. It's a great way to make a living. It's a lot of fun, and to be entrusted with the responsibility of a place as special as St. Louis is something that I don't take lightly. I know Joe didn't when he was here either, and to be able to sit down and just have some laughs and think about, as I said, the people who made us possible and talk about their stories, I think is something that's going to be really fun for both of us. So I can't wait for it.
As Randy just mentioned, and of course we all know your family lineage with broadcasting, but how much did Jack Buck inspire you in your broadcasting career?
Well, all of it. I mean, I was a kid that listened to him on the radio. This was pre-cable, but on the 50,000 watt blowtorch that they had here in St. Louis, that's where I listened to the Cardinals games. I was the kid that would have the transistor radio under the pillow until the battery went out and died, and get up and get into it tomorrow and listen to him play the Dodgers on the West Coast. And during the day, and it wasn't just Jack. Mike Shannon was hugely influential. Bob Starr, who had a remarkable voice, was a great radio guy who later went on to do the Angels, was fantastic. Jay Randolph, who is still with us and was such a great ambassador for baseball, both here in St. Louis and down with the Marlins in Miami. St. Louis has had a very, very rich history of broadcasters here. And for those of us who grew up in the town, our love affair and our knowledge of the game came from them. And again, that's a huge responsibility that we have. Hopefully we're passing that along to a younger generation. And who knows, maybe there's a St. Louis kid that's listening to Joe or to me or to John Rooney who says, "Hey, I want to do that too," and maybe that'll be the spark for them someday as well.
Hey, Chip, one other thing on broadcasting, you mentioned Bob Starr, and his son still lives in St. Louis, and he listens to the show a lot. Did you listen to football Cardinal games that Bob Starr did, or Mizzou football? I don't think there's ever been a better football play-by-play guy.
Yeah, he was tremendous. I mean, Conrad Dobler and Roger Worley and Jim Bakken and Jim Hart, all those guys, Terry Metcalf, Otis Anderson. Yeah, I remember Big Red and Don Coryell and Busch Stadium and the turf and hating the Dallas Cowboys, and I still do.
Proud of you.
Those were fun days. And really, I think St. Louis, for a smaller town, doesn't get the rep that it deserves as really being a cradle of remarkably talented people in media. And Bob Starr often gets overlooked in our town because of the huge influence of Jack Buck and the number one job he had with the Cardinals. But Mr. Starr was tremendous. I met him when I was doing Mariner games with Seattle in the early 90s. Couldn't have been more gracious, couldn't have been nicer, and I dreamed of having those kinds of pipes. He was just a remarkable voice. He was just something else.
Hey, Chip, whether it's here with us every Monday morning or on the broadcast, you've expressed confidence that the Cardinal offense would find its way. And against the Angels last week and then those first 2 games against Boston, they sure did. What do you think has happened? What do you think the difference is that they've hit all these home runs lately?
Yeah, I just think that the approaches are better and the at-bats are better. I think we noticed that in the last game in Milwaukee. The Cardinals didn't have a huge offensive explosion in that game, but I think if you noticed and were paying attention and observing that the Cardinal hitters weren't trying to get 5 hits with every at-bat. They weren't trying to knock in 5 runs with every swing. They were taking pitches better. They were seeing the ball better. They were working the count, trying to get the ball in the zone where they wanted to do damage. That carried over in Anaheim. It certainly carried over in the first 2 games with the Red Sox. And even yesterday, when they were down big, they tried to mount a comeback later in the game. They had some better at-bats. Nick Pivetta was really, really terrific, and they just couldn't touch his high fastball and that splitter combo that he was throwing at us. but the at-bats have been better. They're taking deeper counts. They're making the opposing pitcher work, and they're not getting themselves out. I think that's a big key, and I think that's going to continue for this club.
We ask this question a lot. Who on a team would you pay to go see? I'm getting pretty close to reaching that point with Mason Wynn. If I'm not already there, he's a 5-tool player, right? He can hit. Now we know he can hit for power. He hit 18 homers in the minors last year. He can run, he can field, and boy, can he throw.
He's got an amazing arm. He's an amazingly talented kid. He's incredibly confident, and he knows what his game is. I think that's the most special part. I mean, Gary LaRocque told me last spring that, look, Mason Wynn is a guy that every level he went to, he struggled when he started. But then he caught up to the league, and all of a sudden he became one of the best players of the league in which he was playing. We're seeing that same transition happen now for him. Last year, offensively, it was a struggle for him. We knew he could catch the ball. And for what the St. Louis team needs, defense first, right? Make all the plays. And I think you have to say that the Cardinals are infinitesimally better up the middle now than they were at any point last year, right? Gorman and Wynn at second and short. Siani catches everything in center. The kids behind the plate have done a good job. Contreras has been much better back there when he's healthy. But it all starts with Mason Wynn at shortstop. He makes everything run on the infield, believe it or not. And he is a joy to watch, and I'm with you, Randy. But luckily, I don't have to pay to watch it.
And last and very important question for you, Chip. What do you think of the City Connects?
I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, they're on the website right now.
You haven't seen them yet? There was even a leak this weekend, Chip.
No, I don't. No. I just said I don't want to look. I don't want to know. I'm going to wait to see them, and I think Mr. DeWitt's coming up to the booth today, so he's going to debut them or show them on TV at some point today. So I have not seen them yet, but I'm sure they're going to be great. I'm guessing there's the arch. I'm guessing there's the St. Louis City flag on there somewhere with the rivers and all of that, if I had to guess.
Pretty good guess.
Forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so we will get your genuine first reaction today. I forget that you don't have social media.
No, I don't. I don't. I waste my time in other more productive ways.
All right. Have a great day. Have a great series. By the way, Chip, you can. I'm doing this, and you can do it too. I don't know if the Cardinals are doing anything official, but it is the 80-year anniversary of the Cardinals St. Louis Browns, a.k.a. Baltimore Orioles World Series. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
That's great. Yeah, the Brownies, they were a cool team, too. That'll be a fun thing to talk about. That's awesome. We can't wait to see Baltimore. Good young team and a good test for the Cardinals. They've risen to the challenge against the Red Sox. We'll see if they can do it again and win a third straight series.
We will be tuned in, sir. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Okay, see y'all soon.
See ya.
Thanks,
That's Chip Caray, TV voice of the Cardinals here on 101 ESPN.
I keep forgetting that he doesn't have social media. What amazing self-restraint that he is holding up, because he's still, even if you don't have social media, you can still see things on the interwebs.
Right, and it's right there at Cardinals.com. You've got Newt, you've got Tommy Edman wearing the jersey, you've got Mason Wynn, you've got Nolan, and you've got Brendan Donovan, and you've got another one there with Goldie right at the top. So yeah, I'm good with them. I like them a lot.
And they have Nelly in the promo video.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, there's Goldie right in the middle, front and center. Okay, it's cool. Yeah, and I like the patch with the arch and the city flag, the fleur de lis.
Where's Sonny Gray? Is my question.
I don't know. He'll be sporting one soon, though, I guarantee it. Mm-hmm. He will. Coming up, we want to hear from you. If you haven't gone to Cardinals.com to check it out, or if you haven't seen the leak, check it out. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cardinals City Connects. Should we play? Let's see if we can play the Nelly thing, too. Coming up here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you are running a fast-growing business here in St. Louis, you need to listen to this. NetSuite's Business Grows Here event is coming to St. Louis on Thursday, June 27th, and you don't want to miss it. Why St. Louis? Well, because NetSuite knows St. Louis is a hub for entrepreneurs with forward-thinking founders, a top talent pool, and pro-business leadership. Apply to attend the business event of the year, taking place at Union Station on Tuesday, June 27th. You'll learn how Missouri is paving the way for new business growth and capital, and see how technology fueled by AI is shaping the way we grow and run our businesses. And you're going to be inspired by business leaders like Jamie Siminoff, founder of the Ring Video Doorbell, who headquartered his next company right here in St. Louis. NetSuite by Oracle, Business Grows Here, is free to attend if you qualify. You can apply right now and find out more because seats are going quickly. Block out your calendar for Thursday, June 27th. Apply at netsuite.com/Missouri. That's NetSuite, NETSUITE.com/Missouri, netsuite.com/Missouri. It is 9:07 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke Grimsley, Matthew Rocchio, Randy Carricker, Danny Mack will be with us tomorrow, and the Cardinals have unveiled their City Connect uniforms, and they look really, really good. I'm a fan. I don't know, Brooke, that I'm going to buy one, but I like them a lot.
Why wouldn't you buy one?
Because, I'm not a jersey guy. I don't have many jerseys. But this is, I would buy a pullover with that, with the Lou and the birds on the bat. And they do have some creative items, like the pinstripes that are shaped like the river. Like a river going down. I'm a big fan of the patch. I always wanted the St. Louis flag, and they've got the fleur-de-lis in the arch that kind of emulates the St. Louis flag. So it's a pretty good-looking jersey.
Somebody's replying to what I said earlier. I was like, wait, where's Sonny Gray in this video? You spent money on him. Why wouldn't he be in the promo video? And someone said, Sonny Gray was supposed to be a part of the City Connect reveal, but Fanatics didn't ship his uniform in time.
There you go.
You know, there's probably some truth there. Yeah. I actually do believe that a wee bit.
How about the fact that, along the Fanatics lines, that we're going to have our City Connects before we have our baby blue road jerseys this year?
Yes, you're right.
That's stupid.
That's ridiculous.
That's Fanatics. Did you see they're suing Marvin Harrison?
I did see that.
Give me a break. So anyway, the city. I like the City Connects. If you want to weigh in on the text line, you can. Our buddy Frank Cusimano from Channel 5 interviewed John Mozeliak last night, and there were some interesting comments made by Mo. He talked a little bit about his having to be accountable. And he said he's not really worried about his job security because it wouldn't be devastating to him if he lost his job. But one of the things, and this is a question that had to be asked by Frank, if you had a trade to give back, what would it be? What would you take back?
It stings, but, if you're not making mistakes, you could also argue you're not trying, right? And so, a lot of the examples you've cited, I'm not sure the stories are completely written there. The one I think you can definitely say was a bad deal was, Sandy and Gallon, because that is what it is. But some of these others, I still think, like Libby could still emerge as being either a frontline starter or an elite reliever, and the ROI on that might end up being, comparable. And, I know we get beat up a lot on Adolis Garcia, but, 28 other teams could have claimed him as well. And even Texas put him on waivers again. And, it's a great story now, but there's a lot in between.
That is valid, but you should know your players. You signed the guy for a reason. You should know your players better than everybody else. But going back to Liberatore, Brooke, can you, and Libby's still young. He's 24 years old. But can you envision a scenario based on what you know now where you could see that trade evening out, the Arozarena for Liberatore trade?
Probably not. But I also hate to put that on Liberatore in that situation.
No, it's not his fault.
Yeah, of course. But the thing is that it feels like also he hasn't had the right fair shot. And that's the thing that frustrates me as well. It almost feels like Jordan Hicks 2.0. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
With Matthew Liberatore.
Maybe he would be able to go somewhere else and really thrive.
Yes, because it feels like he hasn't been able to get the right runway and right situation for him to succeed. Now, do I think he has the stuff to be a frontline starter? Not from what I'm seeing currently, but then again, I don't know. I didn't think that Jordan Hicks would have a 2.38 ERA as a starter.
But I'm talking about for the Cardinals. I don't see how that trade ever evens out for the Cardinals. Randy Arozarena, in his career, 162 game averages, 24 homers, 83 RBIs, 781 OPS. He was Rookie of the Year. He was ALCS MVP. He was an all-star. And again, nothing against Liberatore. The Cardinals just gave up an incredibly valuable piece of property to get Matthew Liberatore.
I agree, though, with Mo. I think the biggest one is the Alcantara and Gallon trade. I think if that's one you could point to, because look at the situation that they're in now, and the thing that we keep talking about is the need to go out and buy more starting pitching. And think about, if you could go back in time, what the starting rotation would look like currently if you had Gallon, if you had Alcantara, if you even had Jack Flaherty still, if you had, even an Alex Reyes was another guy who is supposed to be something big for this Cardinals starting rotation, we'd be talking about how great it is that they have all these homegrown arms in their starting rotation instead of what we have in the situation currently, a very expensive starting rotation with now no answer for the number 5 starter role.
And my question would be, would the Cardinals have been able to develop Alcantara and Gallon? When we do look at Flaherty, when we do look at what's happening with Jordan Hicks, and we look at the inability to get people like Graceffo, who 2 years ago was their minor league pitcher of the year, and McGreevy to the major leagues, and Zach Thompson is what he is right now. I wonder if the Cardinals would have been able to properly successfully develop those young pitchers the way they've wound up becoming.
And that's where, when we played that sound earlier about where Mo said, he needs to be held accountable if things do not pan out. Last season, roster construction was a big issue. And then this season, we're still talking about that currently. I think that the fact that you don't have anybody else to go to for that number 5 role with Steven Matz, you knew he was going to have another injury. That's been his history. Even though you eased him into spring training, you knew that you would be in this situation once again, and you don't have enough pitching depth to really answer the question and give this team what has been the biggest, I would say, highlight of the team this year consistently? The bullpen. And now because of the situation, you took away one of the bullpen arms with Matthew Liberatore, and now because of the situation with Matthew Liberatore and putting him in the starter role, you have now really worn down your bullpen options, which, by the way, they will make some sort of move today, and they're bringing over the guy from Wash U, right?
Yeah. Ryan, I believe it's Lautos, but I'm not sure. But he was hired to build an app for the Cardinals analytics department. He was a pitcher at WashU, wound up pitching in the Cardinal organization, now makes it all the way to the majors from Washington University.
So there will be a corresponding move. I'm interested to see what exactly it will be. Roycroft?
I could see him be gone. Roycroft is... he's pitched a lot for the Cardinals, but he doesn't seem like a guy that you're going to be using in high leverage situations. By the way, you want to be in that corner, if you want to be perceived as smart, you want to be in that corner of the clubhouse with Edmund and Lautos, right? Mm-hmm. The Stanford guy and the WashU guy.
Yeah.
Not bad. By the way, one other thing about the Cardinals, and I referenced this last week. In 2017, the year before they traded for Marcell Ozuna and made that trade, their outfield was the outfielders that played the most were Pham, Fowler, and Piscotty. And I really don't think that if Oscar Taveras doesn't pass away, I don't think the Cardinals make that deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they sign Fowler, and I don't know if they would have allowed Pham to play that much. They had a lot of injuries, too. Grichuk didn't wind up being what they thought he would be. Piscotty was touch and go. But Harrison Bader was just arriving at that point. But I don't think that the Cardinals, if Taveras was what he was supposed to have been, I don't think they ever make the trade for Ozuna. So I think that is really I don't know that the Cardinals ever really recovered because they had to trade for Hayward. Mm-hmm. They gave up Terrell Jenkins and Shelby Miller and got Hayward in that deal. And then they go out and get Ozuna, and they make other little moves like the Fowler move. I just think they scrambled for a long time to and he would right now be younger. Oscar Taveras would be younger today than Arenado and Goldschmidt. He'd be 32.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and then Alex Reyes is another big one.
No doubt.
Ripple effect there
right.
that you've seen within the organization.
Long-ranging. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. That's today's Rush Hour Reset. Coming up, your Battlehawks are in the playoffs. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! We're going to talk about what might happen when they do make the playoffs. Next on 101 ESPN. If you're going to sell your home and you're serious about selling it, take it from me and call Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Ask her about her multiple cash offer program and the ability to receive multiple cash offers quickly and eliminate the hassles of open houses or costly repairs and time on the market. With Gloria, you have options and you can choose the best cash offer. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And she's able to guarantee the sale of your home in writing because Gloria already has buyers, thousands of ready buyers. It's pretty amazing that she has this database that has been put together over the course of 20 years of people that are looking to buy in your neighborhood and in your price range. That's how Gloria nets you the most money and creates the highest demand, many times with multiple offers, and that means more money in your pocket. Gloria sells for more and sells faster when compared to your average agent. So if you're serious about selling your home, give Gloria a call at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. It is so much fun, and you've been there. It's so much fun to go to St. Louis Battlehawks games. The crowds are great, and they really have a competitive league. They were down. The D.C. Defenders scored with 5 minutes left the other day on Saturday at the Dome, 32,000 on hand for an 11 o'clock in the morning game. The Battlehawks drive down the field, score right at the 2-minute warning, Wayne Gallman with a 2-yard touchdown run, and they hang on for a 26-20 victory and clinch a playoff spot. And I want to start with this because we always talk about coaching, right? We talk about it with the Blues. We talk about it with the Cardinals. I think Anthony Becht and his staff do a really good job, and to not have A.J. McCarron for the number one offense in the league on Saturday and perform the way the offense did, and it wasn't greatest show on turf stuff, but they did put up 26 points. I thought they did a really good job of tailoring a game plan for Manny Wilkins, their backup quarterback.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was very concerned when we found out that A.J. McCarron wasn't playing this weekend, but Manny Wilkins, they did rally around him, and he did really well. And they did play good football, Randy. So I think that does speak to the coaching staff and what they're able to do with Wilkins. I mean, no turnovers. That's the biggest thing for me, is that if you're stepping into that position, just no turnovers, please. And he was able to do that. And so now they're in a position where they've made the playoffs. I think it was, who was it that posted about it? Is this the first time that a pro, of course, we're going back to the Rams, that a pro football team here in town has been to the playoffs in 20 years? Would that be accurate?
2004 would have been the last one, yeah. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
And, of course, last year they did have a winning record, but yeah.
But they
Rams,
didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, from
last
2000
year.
Because they made the playoffs at 8-8. From 2004 through 2015, they never had a winning record after that. So yeah, the Battlehawks are doing a great job of winning.
What do you remember from that 2004 team?
Oh, the 2004 team was that was Steven Jackson and Bulger. They were pretty good. I think everybody, because that was the year after they had lost Kurt, and they go into, I think, Seattle and win a playoff game that they weren't the better team. And then 2004 is when they went into Atlanta, and Kerry Davis's Atlanta Falcons, I think they drubbed them like 47-12 or something like that. So that was a bad playoff game.
Oh.
That wasn't a playoff worthy team, that 8-8 Rams team. But this is a fun team that we're watching right now, and
with the Battlehawks, and it's just the atmosphere. You talked about it earlier, and it's kind of hard to put into words how different the atmosphere is over at the Battle Dome, and that's a credit to the fans. We had somebody text in earlier, and I completely disagree with this, where they said that it was fake. Basically, the fandom is fake. That this more has something to do with Stan Kroenke, all that stuff. I do think that is one of the driving factors, because when you have the NFL, Stan Kroenke, try try to drag your city's name down and really drag it through the mud like that, like they did, and try to portray it nationally as this terrible thing that the fans didn't support, of course you're going to show that that is not the case, because we know here in St. Louis, all the fans that come in for Cardinal games, all the fans that come in for Blues games, big sporting events, the PGA Championship, everything like that, the fans do show up. This is a sports town. And so I think that is one of the driving factors. But also, I think you just have people who love watching football, and they miss that.
Brooke, we had terrible football. We went through 15-65 with the Rams here in St. Louis. And the hardest of hardcore fans showed up. And the hardest of hardcore fans are showing up. Now, it doesn't make any difference if they don't have football and they want to consume football. And those are the people that are showing up. They're hardcore football fans that enjoy the competition. I don't think there's anything fake about it at all. Sure, Stan Kroenke left, but I don't think that you would sustain now, because in 2020, it was definitely an anti-Kroenke sentiment before the pandemic, right? But now they're coming back. The Rams have been gone for 8 years now, and this is the second full season. I don't think it's that sort of hate is sustainable to keep going to games and putting in that kind of time and money and effort to watch games. I legitimately think that the fans that go to Battlehawks games are the most hardcore, the most hardy football fans that you can possibly have.
And winning helps a lot, too, because then that drives the interest as well. And so in this situation, they really could have home field advantage. So if they were able to do what they need to do this coming weekend, and I think if San Antonio loses, then they could get home field advantage for the rest of the playoffs, leading to, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, I want them in the championship.
Me too.
Maybe we should speak it into existence, Randy. They will be in the championship.
They will be in the championship game. Yeah. This week they'll play their final road game when they face Arlington Saturday, 11 o'clock. And that game will be on ABC and ESPN Extra. But you just win that. All they have to do is put their head down and keep winning. And they're as good as anybody. If they play a neutral site, well, it won't be a neutral site. If they play that championship game against Birmingham, they'll beat them. There were a lot of things that went wrong, including the McCarron injury in that game in Birmingham. If they get Birmingham here in the championship game, they will win the game.
From the 636, I wouldn't be watching spring football on Sunday at 11 to spite Kroenke. F that guy, but I watch because I want to.
There you go. Exactly. So, and I enjoy it. It's I can take it or leave it in terms of being there, but my decision is not going to be based upon Kroenke moving the Rams. I'm sitting in the press box. I'm not being able to yell Kroenke sucks from the press box. I'm there because I enjoy the competition. And when I walked down in the concourse on Saturday, or yesterday, I guess it was football.
It's like a party atmosphere.
And
it's fun.
People are dressing up. They're putting on
the costumes,
eagle hats and stuff, and wearing giant chains. Maybe that person just hasn't been there and seen what it's like. But these people are intense. It's great.
It is. It really is like a party atmosphere. And we mentioned the tailgating earlier. Even just seeing that is so cool to just pull up when you're going over to the Dome to see the big tailgate scene. And people are having fun.
Yeah, so congratulations. Brandon Williams doing a great job here locally in marketing the team. As we mentioned, 32,403 yesterday, and they'll play their final home game, perhaps a chance just to celebrate a great regular season as they head into the playoffs.
60,000 for the championship, which the Battlehawks will be in, because we're speaking that into existence. Okay. But can we be realistic here? Don't you think that the UFL would want that as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For viewership, for numbers, having great crowd shots in the championship game, you would want the Battlehawks to be in there.
We're a market of 2.8 million people, and there are a lot of people that come from a long ways away to watch these games. Why not just put 66,000 in there? If we're going to be playing the game, when we're going to be playing the game here, why do 60? Why not do 66? Why not sell the dang thing out?
Not if, it's when.
When. There we go.
And then we got to work on the parade plans after that.
Yes. Do you want it down Market Street?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or do we do something a little bit different?
I think Market Street would be fun. The same route that the Rams took when they won the Super Bowl. I think that'd be ideal.
I like that.
Yeah.
We're going to start working on this.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we need to make this happen. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up here on 101 ESPN, we want to hear your reaction to the interview that Frank Cusimano did with John Mozeliak. We're going to play a couple of the cuts for you and then allow you to either text in or leave a mic drop with us here on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you're an adult and you're looking for postgraduate education, you can unlock your potential with Lindenwood University Online. Affordable programs for working adults that are 100% online. You can get credit for prior learning experiences to earn your degree faster. All you have to do is go to lindenwood.edu to learn more. And it's so affordable and so industry relevant that it'll provide you the perfect online program for you. And your company will love having you get this postgraduate degree because it'll make you more valuable to them. Your knowledge will be greater. Lindenwood has 35 plus online programs taught by industry experts committed to your success. I went to Lindenwood. I was on campus and I loved it, but I know that everything they do online and on campus is fantastic. And the online program will work with you to apply credit for prior learning experience. It's a top ranked online MBA in Missouri, according to Fortune Education in 23-24. You can learn more by going online about Lindenwood's online program at lindenwood.edu.
Want to change up your daily fantasy game? Here's how you do it. You want to go with a little pick 'em with our friends at Underdog Fantasy. You just pick 2 to 5 players from at least 2 different teams. Select higher or lower on the player's stats. Once your entry is ready, you're going to pick your entry fee and you're going to be entered in a game alongside other underdogs. My favorite way to play is usually combining Cardinals baseball with our playoff games going on right now. So we got some Cardinals baseball tonight. No playoff games for the NBA, so we're going to go all Cardinals and we're going to roll with a little bit of the Cardinals. Sonny Gray lower than 18.5 pitching outs. You're essentially asking yourself, do they put Sonny Gray out there for the 7th inning? I don't see it happening. So we're going to go lower on 18.5 pitching outs for Sonny Gray, higher on 16.5 pitching outs for the Orioles starter Dean Kramer. So your question is he going to go a full 6? I think he does go a full 6. So Dean Kramer, higher than 16.5 pitching outs. And then which Cardinal gets some hits today? I think Mason Wynn. He's got that dog in him. I think he's been looking good. We're going to go higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI for Mason Wynn today. That's our scorcher. That's going to take us up to 6X on this entry day. If you want to make that a little bit bigger, you just go to Underdog Fantasy. It's super easy to play, even easier to get started with their mobile app or at UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code ROCC, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick-em product, plus a special deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code ROCC to claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick and your deposit offer. You add that player pick to the entry you've already built, you're going to take it from 6X to 10X of your original entry fee. Must be 18 plus in President's Day where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org. This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals take 2 of 3 over the weekend. They'll start a 3-game series against the Orioles. You just heard me talking about the matchup a little bit while ago. Dean Kramer, the righty for the Orioles tonight, facing off against the righty for the Cardinals, Sonny Gray. Over the weekend, if your St. Louis City SC falls again, this time to FC Cincinnati 3-1. That is their 3rd loss of the season, but their 2nd loss in the last week. Also over the weekend, your St. Louis Battlehawks getting a big win over the D.C. Defenders, 26-21, as they clinched themselves a playoff berth. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
We do have some reaction to Frank Cusimano's interview on Channel 5 last night with Cardinals Pobo John Mozeliak, and you can view it on the Channel 5 website, ksdk.com, or just go to their YouTube channel. And one of the things, I think the most notable thing that Mo mentioned last night, Brooke, was that he does hear the response to the way the ball club is playing, and Frank asked him about how it affects his family.
Well, most of my family understands not to read things and not to follow social media. I will say, like, it's hard for someone like myself to just say, oh, I can ignore it, because that's impossible. I certainly get the sense that the city is tiring of me, and, the vocal minority is getting louder and louder. And, the only thing that can change that course is we start playing better.
Okay, so number one, obviously, yes, they can change the course if the team plays better and wins. In your observation, Matthew, you see the text line every day too. Do you think the vocal minority is simply getting louder and louder, or do you think it's getting bigger and bigger?
I would say it's getting... Can both be the answer?
I think it's turning into a majority. I really do.
Yeah, because I think the people who have been there for the last 4 or 5 years who were minority, I think they're getting louder, but I think they're being joined slowly but surely by people in the congregation behind them who aren't as loud, but are certainly now starting to kind of chirp up a little bit.
I think that's the phrasing of that was just a little weird to me when you say vocal minority versus majority. I think the better phrasing is that it's getting bigger, because when you say vocal, I made the joke earlier, but it sounds true. It just sounds like you're about to file a noise complaint and you want people to quiet down a little bit and to be patient. Does that kind of feel like where that is starting to go? Now, I will say I watched the entire interview last night and then I rewatched it this morning. I did feel, if you watch the entire thing outside of that one clip, it felt like he kind of understood a little bit more than ever, and his tone was a little bit different, where he understood, okay, this could be a big moment for me where I might not have a job anymore. Did you feel like that listening to that interview, where it felt like he finally maybe kind of realized that this could be going in a direction that sees him exiting sooner than planned?
I always have had the impression that Mo would be able to leave on his own terms. But he did use the term fired. If I get fired.
Yeah, he did.
And so, I don't think that he is as defiant as he was. Now, do I think he'll get fired? No, I don't think that the Cardinals, I don't think Bill DeWitt Jr. or Bill DeWitt III will fire John Mozeliak. I could see him being reassigned within the organization, but I believe as long as John Mozeliak wants to be an employee of the Cardinals, that he will be.
So if he gets reassigned or rehomed within the organization, don't you think that would also cause some issues? Because then any little wrong move, say that he's in a different role but still part of the front office, then people would be like, well, I mean, he's around, he's a part of that. So then what are the optics of that and how that looks like?
Yeah, optics will play a big role, and it depends on what you have him do.
Because if he gets fired, then that's pretty serious, that he wasn't able to accomplish the job that you needed him to do.
And they have fired Mike Schilt. They have fired Mike Matheny. It's not like they have never fired anybody there. We've got some mic drops, and we do appreciate them. Let's hear from Janet first.
I thought Frank's interview with Mo last night was pretty good. The only thing is, it didn't go far enough. I think that Mo is responsible for the lack of development in the minor leagues, and he didn't go into all that, why people were coming up and not being as good as they were supposed to be, and also why people players go to other teams and are better. It's because the lack of coaching. They don't have the proper coaches in place. Mo has stripped our organization down so far.
Janet, thank you very much for the mic drop. Not to defend the coaching here, but one of the things that has happened in the last 5-10 years is that players are utilizing, and Mo mentioned this during the course of the interview, they're outsourcing more of their coaching and not using the major league coaches or their minor league coaches. These guys are getting trained at a very young age by somebody at home. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just we don't know. It's that. And so if a player is from Dallas, Texas, and grew up from the time he was 8 years old with a hitting coach from Dallas, he'll glom onto that guy at the expense of being taught by minor or major league coaches. And sometimes that can be a bad thing because what the major league wants is different than what that kid was doing when he was 12.
And of course, I don't think that's going to go away, but maybe if you have more resources within the organization, to Janet's point, then that can also help. You can never have enough resources on the other side of it in the coaching staff. We mentioned Mike Schilt. That was 18 years of knowledge that has gone from your organization when you decided to fire him, because he worked his way up through the system. He knew the Cardinals way. He knew the Cardinal way top to bottom, and that was a huge resource that you lost in your organization. Chris Carpenter was a part of the organization, and he is not anymore. You have, it feels like a lot of missing parts that can really help on the developmental side of things to really maximize the talents of these players, where you don't have to send them back down as often. Of course, things happen. There's a big jump from the minors to the majors. Everybody knows that. But at a certain point, when you're not seeing the young players, especially on the pitching side, reach their full potential of what we know that they should be, then that's a big concern, and it's a trend that you're seeing with this team.
And we'll repeat a statistic that we had earlier. Of the 23 pitchers on the Cardinals' 40-man roster, 19 of them have come from other places, and been traded to the Cardinals or acquired by the Cardinals as free agents. 4 of the 23 pitchers on their 40-man roster were drafted and have stayed here throughout the course of their young careers. All right, let's get to A.A. Ron on 101 ES. Or no, this is Brian. No, A.A. Ron's next. A.A. Ron.
Mo sounded defensive. He gave excuses. Again, he leaned on the injury bug. No accountability still from Mo. So he still doesn't get it. He still doesn't understand. And he probably never will because he's got a silver spoon in his face. Not what I wanted to say. But anyway, Frank did a decent job. Tried to get accountability, and there's just no accountability there for Mo. So never going to have it. So, yeah, the Cardinals are going to continue to struggle until they get somebody that actually cares and not just to make money.
Well, let's start with this. He said, ultimately, I'm accountable, and if I don't get the job done, I will get fired. To paraphrase, I don't know what more accountability you want. Maybe you do want a firing squad, but he said, if we don't start winning, that I'm going to lose my job. So I don't know what more you want the guy to say, honestly. He could come on and say, this is a terrible team and I've done a terrible job, and right here on Channel 5, I'm going to resign right now. I guess that could be accountability. I think sometimes we need to be rational and not ask for that sort of response.
And I do think, just listening to the whole interview, it sounded like he kind of realized. I think you could point to maybe some past interviews where he was a tad bit more smug, but I think in this interview you could tell that he was realizing even more so that his job can be on the line here, and he was coming to terms with that.
Yep. And let's get one mic drop from Brian here on 101 ESPN.
I love the interview. I think Mo has done a great job. People in St. Louis need to stop complaining. Be patient. We're used to winning. I understand that. We've seen some bad things going on this year and the last year before that. But I think the Cardinals are coming around, or hitting. Mo is going to end up being the savior at the end of the season.
Brian, I love that.
Bunnies and roses. Randy. Randy.
Saw it come from a mile away.
Randy, no.
I'm standing at the crossroads waiting for the train to wave at it.
Oh, man. That is a, what?
Kill me. I'm fine.
Yeah, no. These bunnies and roses.
Yeah.
That is a very optimistic perspective, and I appreciate that from Brian. I really do. I actually do. The thing is I want things to turn around, but there's so many things organizationally that has to be addressed here. We talked about it. The reactive approach rather than proactive approach, you have to wonder where that's coming from within the organization, because that seems to be a philosophy surrounding them right now. Now, they did go get some starting pitchers this offseason, but still, now you're in a position where you don't have a number 5 starter.
Right. Yeah, that would help to have, too. That would be nice to have one. Yeah. Matthew, do you want to get into the last one here? Do we have time? Last mic drop? Or
Why
do
not?
We okay, we got to get to Rock and Roll here.
Wait, hold on a second.
No, we got it.
Okay, here we go. This is Randy.
I think it's a situation where the success of the organization allowed Mo to convince ownership that his way was the best way. And he has systematically removed any opposing forces, any opposing opinions. And ever since then, you haven't had any success. I think that he was great as part of a team when you had people like La Russa in place that could push back.
That's pure speculation, but I don't think that I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, because it seems pretty clear that Mike Schilt, there was some push back there and he got fired. And I think one of the reasons that they, until Chaim Bloom came along, that they haven't brought people in from the outside is because they wanted everybody on the same page. They wanted a harmonious situation in the front office in regards to player procurement and development, rather than one where there's constructive tension. And I think constructive tension in a sports front office is better.
And that's why I said last week when we were talking about the turning point, things when they change with the Cardinals, and I pointed specifically to when you had that era end with Tony La Russa, and then you decided as an organization to move on to first-time managers. Mm-hmm. That is basically saying, like, okay, we don't want any of that pushback anymore. We want somebody who will fall in line with what we want more so of in the organization, that will fall in line with what we want with analytics, with what the front office message is. And I think that some of that pushback is really important to have. And it didn't matter whoever the manager was that was hired after that whole Mike Schilt incident, you knew what the public perception was going to be.
Right, and it still is that way.
Yeah, it didn't matter if it was Ollie, it didn't matter if it was Skip, it didn't matter if it was Matt Holliday, whoever it was. If you had a firing that went down like that, where Mozeliak specifically said even prior to that whole win streak that we saw during that season that he already knew that he was going to get rid of Mike Schilt. He already knew that. It didn't matter how many games they won, it didn't matter what they did, that he already made that decision. You knew that whoever was coming in after that would have to fall in line with what the front office wants.
Yeah. And that's where they are from a perception standpoint right now, isn't it?
And probably not input-wise on roster construction.
Yeah, I would doubt that there's much input on the part of the coaching staff in regards to roster construction. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up, we've got, and by the way, you can see Frank Cusimano's interview with Mo on the Channel 5 KSDK YouTube channel, or go to KSDK.com, and thanks to them for allowing us to use that audio. We do appreciate it. And coming up next, we've got Rock and Roll here on 101 ESPN. Hey, we ask you to log on to our YouTube channel. We ask you to communicate with us via Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. Communicating with your clients via social media is huge now. And there is an art, there's a science to communicating with your clients or potential clients. And it can be a daunting challenge. And that's why you need 2060 Digital. It's our sister company right here in the same building, backed by our 100-year-old media empire of Hubbard. And just like 101 ESPN, if you're a business owner or marketer seeking more strategic ways to reach your audience, then look no further than 2060 Digital. You can find them at 101ESPN.com/2060 Digital, and they'll put together a plan for you from a social media standpoint. They'll help you optimize your website. They'll help you be the first when somebody searches for your category in Google, you would be at the top of the page, and then they can quantify exactly what you're getting out of them. 2060 Digital is amazing. They've got brilliant people over there. You'll love them. Go to 101ESPN.com/2060 Digital.
And roll.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
For rock and roll. So I'm going to, before we get to rock and roll, the Cardinals have turned out the release about their City Connects. So here's what you got, Brooke. You've got a jersey front with the birds on the bat and the Lou, featuring a modern take on the traditional birds on the bat. Looks nice. You've got a lower jersey and cap lettering, reviving a classic Cardinals front, the STL cap and the St. Louis Cardinals lower jersey font. Pay homage to the team's 1920-21 jersey lettering. You have that arm patch, which is beautiful. That's my favorite part. The sleeve patch is salute to the Lou's two most enduring historic symbols, the fleur-de-lis, commemorating our French heritage, and our gateway arch. And then jersey pants and jersey and pants river pinstripes, and thank goodness they've got white pants, so that's good. 1882 inside collar commemorating the official birth of the franchise, and it's a red jersey, so I like it. I'm a fan of the jersey in general.
You didn't want him to look like a ketchup bottle?
I did not. No, the last game the Rams ever played here was the Condiment Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you remember that?
I know what you're talking about.
Yep,
yeah,
the Bucks wore red and the Rams wore yellow.
So bad.
It was really bad.
Man.
All yellow and all
the
red. I don't want all red. So I'm glad that they did that. You know, the only thing that I would have changed is, rather than the red, this very same jersey with bright white, I would have said I would have bought one of those. A bright white one of these with this patch and the Lou on the front. I would have bought one of those. I wonder if the Cardinals put big letters on the back, by the way.
I hope so.
That's a good question.
I would love to see that. Just to do it to Fanatics and Nike.
Yeah, that would be one way. But do you think that Fanatics would allow it?
Yeah, probably not.
They got that was like the first thing they started fixing that like 3 weeks ago. The numbers.
Yeah, but they haven't done it with the letters yet, though.
No, the letters.
That's going to take a while.
The letters are going to take a lot longer.
Based off of anything with Fanatics.
I thought they did fix the sizing. It was the fonting on the numbers. You're right that they switched out. Okay, that's a good point.
I like it. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. Here's the thing. City Connectors.
3?
City Connectors have to be one of two things. So crazy good that you never thought of an idea like that, i.e. the Boston Red Sox, or 2, so garishly awful that it's actually fun to make fun of how bad they are. These are neither. These are just like, not bad.
It's the safe option.
You didn't blow it. Very Cardinals option, and that's why I'm giving it a 3. If this was the ugliest jersey I'd ever seen, it'd be an 8.
Why not a 5?
Oh, fine. We'll give it a 5. But if this was the ugliest, if this was the greatest jersey ever, I'd be at 9 or a 10. If this was the ugliest jersey ever, I'd be like an 8.5, 9. But like, 5.
That's why I think like 7 is middle.
Good. Yeah,
I think 7 is middle. It was
That's
very
fair.
safe, very on brand with the Cardinals this season. It was the easier option.
Do you guys love the Stiefel patch on the right arm, by the way?
I mean, it just pops.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, go to the one Brendan Donovan's look with the Stiefel patch on the right arm.
It just pops, Randy, is really what it does.
Yeah. I know, Matthew, you aren't a big fan of the cap. I will probably not wear that cap.
The cap's just, like, I want to like the cap. I love the old school lettering. The white on red always pops. There's just something about it's wrong. I don't know if they got the size of the STL wrong or what. It's a good idea, but something to me is it's kind of like the uncanny valley. Like when you watch a really weird CGI movie and you're like, something's creeping me out, but I can't put my. No, it's like it's a little bit of Polar Express, and I can't figure out what it is on the hat.
It's a little Polar Express.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm
I know what
saying,
you're talking about, but I don't. The uncanny valley reference is very, very millennial and Gen Z
Appreciate
right now. Do you know what we're talking about with uncanny valley?
No, I have no idea.
There's humans can identify things as non-human, and we can identify things as human, but there's a point in between where something is both non-human but almost human enough where humans like can't compute what it is, and it freaks us out.
Oh, okay.
And it's called the uncanny valley, and it's literally a thing where like the human psyche like breaks down when we like when we think about things in the uncanny valley, and it freaks us out to our core. That's why everyone thinks that's why they're finding all these like proto-humans that looked a lot like humans, but we're still kind of Neanderthalists. And we freaked out and we killed them.
Yeah,
because
it's like if you saw somebody wearing like a mask in public, and you know that there's something off about it, even if it's hyper realistic.
The Polar Express reference was to a movie in the early 2000s, right when CGI was kind of a new
Polar
thing,
Express?
and they made a new Polar Express movie. Well, there's an old Polar Express movie, or maybe it was just a book, but they made a Polar Express movie in the early 2000s, and the CGI was so freaky, and the eyes are really like dead, but like they're moving, and so it's like it's right in that zone of like what the hell is going on right now. So anyhow, I think that's where the Cardinals' hat is in the uncanny valley.
Like it doesn't have a soul, which
Yes,
I mean, Rocc
so
doesn't
true.
think anything has a soul,
Also true.
anyways. So
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. You know, I don't believe caps have a soul.
You know what, Brooke? I'll say
I
this.
don't think caps have a
Sometimes I
soul.
like to think that cities have a soul, and you know who is the soul of a city? Because I tweeted out last night.
Of the Lou.
No. This is a different city. I'm going to go north. It's fun when you watch a player in real time change the thought process of fans. Pat Maroon did that for St. Louis Blues fans, I think. Anthony Edwards is doing that for Minnesota fans. A tough area to be in, a lot of ups and downs. Obviously, they have some highs, but they have a lot of lows when you think about their favorite teams with the Vikings and so the Timberwolves break through. They beat the Nuggets last night. They come back from a 20-point deficit early in the game. But the best part, obviously, was after the game, Anthony Edwards on the mic with the TNT crew, I should say, Charles Barkley and Anthony Edwards.
I have not been to Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring your ass.
Hey, bring your ass.
There is Anthony Edwards and Charles Barkley. Bring your ass, which is now my new favorite catchphrase.
You need to put that on a shirt. I like Ant. He is
great.
a game changer.
Bring your ass.
And a big personality, to say the least.
You know who the first guy I thought of when you talked about somebody, an athlete, changing the persona and the attitude of a city was Joe Burrow.
That's a great one.
With his swagger, being from Ohio and being
Yeah.
proud to be a Bengal. And they just have totally bought in.
Joe Cool.
Yeah. And Warner did that here, by
Drew
the way.
Brees.
Oh, big time in New Orleans. Bringing them back, too.
You saw it in real time. A fan base started to actually have fun and believe in football as something that wasn't just there to perpetually make them sad.
Yeah.
Did Stafford do it in Detroit? Or is Goff
they
his
never
team
won.
doing it now?
No.
Okay.
No. But you know who else did? And it was performance and his words was McGuire.
Yeah.
When McGuire came in and said baseball heaven, when he welcomed Jimmy Edmonds and hit all those home runs, and we'd never, Brooke, the old record for the Cardinals before McGuire hit 70 was 43 in a season. 43 was the old record. He hit 70 to pass it. So and he was the Arch and McGuire were how our city was identified for a couple of years. So he had that ability too.
I mean, national. I mean, it was crazy as a little kid to see a national star from St. Louis.
Yeah, right.
And that was the thing with Big Mac, is like I saw national commercials and like there were references to him on national things. It was like, wait, what's happening right now?
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
crazy.
Pretty cool. Tim McKernan coming up, T-Mac and Ajax with a balloon party. Then you've got BK and Ferrario from 11 to 2, and then the Fast Lane later on. Great job today by our producer, audio, video engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Brooke, did you have fun today?
Yes.
Good. I could tell you were having fun.
Yes.
So we had a good time. Brooke, so
I'm always. Is there a time I'm not having fun, Randy?
No, you're always having fun.
No,
so,
don't. I know what you're doing. This is where I'm not having fun.
Okay.
No, Randy, don't do it.
What? Don't or yes?
Don't.
Okay. I was just going to tell Brooke there's only 3 weeks till her wedding, but you don't want me to. You don't want me to do it, so I won't do it.
You know how Joe Buck was talking about his voice cracking? That's like me whenever you mention, like, how many? Oh, great.
We thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. For all of us until tomorrow morning at 7. Have a great Monday, St. Louis.
Bring gas.